Okay. So we are here. This is the Bell Perspective. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I have got the man, the myth, the legend with me. I've got the man, the myth, the legend with me, y'all. I'm so honored. My friend across the internet over there, D Movie Man. We are going to be discussing and recapping Ready to Love, the last, first and second episode. The plan is to have a few other people on this panel, so reach out to me if you have any questions or if you're interested in joining. But yeah, so let's D, you want to just introduce yourself, shout out your page, and you know, do the things.
Absolutely. Hey everyone, this is D Movie Man, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you all with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. If you are not familiar with that tagline, well, hopefully you will be very, very soon. That is what you will hear if you take a quick little journey on over to my page. That kind of sums up my general presence here on YouTube. I enjoy talking about films. I like delving not just into the technical side of things, the directors, cinematography, the acting, like all these different, solid elements that come together to make a great film, including writers. Shout out to the writers in the writer strike right now. But
Yes, and
in
actors
addition to yes,
and the
absolutely.
actors too. Yes.
Yes, and the actors, yes. But also delving into the personal side of things, understanding that so many experiences with films, and even when I do my TV show recaps, thinking about certain trailers and reacting to those, they capture and they encapsulate certain aspects of my life. So being able to kind of like look back over certain memories and reconnect to those things as it pertains to certain films, that's something that's really significant for me. Also, not something I planned on doing, but it just kind of organically came about as I continued on, and it's something very cathartic about doing that. So I enjoy the conversation. I'm all about community and support, just like my girl Belle here. So yes, please feel free to check me out right here on YouTube. Capital D, period, space, capital MOVIEMAN. I would love to have you check me out.
So excited to have him here. I'm so excited, y'all. Really, 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 really and truly. Okay, so let's get into the mess. I know, that's what we here for. Let's
Right.
dive in and dissect this mess. Okay,
Yes.
so first episode. So RTL dating show. They like to go to different like
Mhm.
major metropolitan cities where a lot of black folk are. They're going back to Dallas again. They've been in Dallas before. They were in Houston.
Mhm.
They're back again in Texas, in Dallas. And the first episode is called Bigger in Texas.
Yes.
So this is the episode where all of the singles are meeting each other. It's the mixer, everybody's bringing their A game and such. So let's talk about some of the singles. I'm not going to go down a whole list of all of them because that would just take up an entire live, and we don't have time for that. But so who are some
Right.
of the singles that stood out to you the most, and then also for positively, and then on the other side of that, who are some of the singles that you were kind of just like y'all could have kept them
Right.
at home? Yeah.
Right. So yeah, definitely is interesting to see them return back to Dallas and Texas. Let me say first off, I'm gonna be honest personally, disrespect to anybody who lives there, but these last two Miami seasons were not it for me at all. Womp
Mm-mm,
womp womp
not
womp
at
womp.
all.
No, I was not a fan.
Okay. Mm-mm,
Ooh, I was not a fan, so I was like,
not a
okay,
fan.
maybe let's take it back to Texas and let's see if Texas is giving something. And so far, I'm cool with it. It seems to be an improvement so far. So
Yeah.
as far as some of the singles, like you said, it's so many to choose from that I'm like trying to figure out who really stands out now. Who stood out initially? Keyword is initially.
Yeah.
Was Janelle.
Yes.
Because she's seen. I like people who seem to be, kind of like lighthearted, bubbly, kind of self-effacing. Good. Good sense of humor, personality, all that kind of stuff. Just going off of this episode, so I
Right.
was,
Just the first
yeah,
initial. We
right.
we don't know it like that. So she's
Right.
got plenty of time to embarrass us, and we take back
It,
all of our words. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. I also thought, let's see. What's the name? I
Was it a girl
thought
or a guy?
it is Avid. My bad. I'm telling you, trying to keep up with everybody. But I thought, well, initially, again, I thought, you know, I mean, Quentin is kind of what you expect. I kind of know in my mind, like when I saw Quentin, I kind of knew what to expect, but I was kind of like, oh, he might be cool. I don't know. I kind of he seemed cool at first to me. Quentin, I was like, okay, we got the muscle
Yeah,
dude with the
yeah.
kind of gentle giant. That's what I was kind of thinking we were getting. So I was like, okay, that's cool. The guy, and I cannot remember his name, but the guy who lost his dad.
Oh, Morier, I think is how you pronounce it.
Okay, yeah.
Morier,
Oh, Maury, yeah, yeah, Maury. He seemed
Morier.
cool too, for the most
Hmm.
part. And then I believe is it Unique? That's the kind of the cheerleader with the bubbly energy.
That's Kira. That's
That's
Kira.
Kira. Yeah,
Yes.
Kira. And then I like Kira too. She seems pretty cool for the most part. So for the positive, I was like, okay, those are just kind of the first four. There are other people too, but like we said, it's a lot of folks
Yeah.
to choose from.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now who stood out
Go ahead and
negatively.
say
It's really not hard I
it.
mean, it's really not hard to
Sticking out
figure
like
it
a
out.
sore thumb. A sore thumb.
Yeah. So Habibi, aka Hakeem, like you said in your
Hakeem. Okay. Hakeem Johnson.
Hakeem Johnson. I was like, look, I I mean, take everything else away. I'm not really here for people culturally appropriating other folks, like
Like, yes.
like
Sir.
fat, style and look, and I'm like, I'm sorry,
Yes.
you cannot tell me because I understand we have black Muslim folks, we have black. I mean, we're worldwide
Of
to
course.
quote Candy Burris,
Of
but
course.
that ain't what's going on here. This man found this. I don't know what flea market he went to or what. Where maybe took a trip over to Dubai. Was like, oh, okay, cool, and let me throw this on. And now, Habibi. There we go. Let's do a remix. Like just like with some people were saying, because a lot of people do this too. But some people were saying like Sheree on RHOA, like her name
Yeah.
was actually Sherry, and she changed it to where there's an accent on the end. My mom had saw
Oh,
something somewhere. I don't know if it was on some kind of record, something she saw, and
really?
there are a lot of people who put accents on their names to make it, or they
Yes.
make it sound more exotic than it actually is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And then on top of that, the stuff that's coming out your mouth and just the way you're approaching these women and talking about,
Right.
would you cheat with me? I'm like, is that the standard?
Yeah.
That
Like
is that the precedent in a
right.
relationship that
Right.
we
Right.
like? Is that really what you want to ask? So
Yes.
yeah, so as soon as I saw Habibi, I was like, Lord, I already know what's going on here.
Okay.
Um, and then to quote you, tequila, Tanquilla, Tankalanka,
I could not get
Tequila, Tank.
I could not get her name right. What is it?
I think it's Tequila.
Oh, Tequila.
I think it's Tequila. I think I have to look at it again because it's a weird spelling because it's like when you think of certain letters together, you would think like
Yeah.
tequila
Yes.
or something else, but then like the way it is, how some of us do with
Right. We
spelling and
we're
pronunciation.
different. We're a
Yes,
little, we like to put a little, zhuzh on it. Yes. Yes.
right, yeah. So I think it's Tequila from what I remember.
Tequila.
But yeah, I was getting some weird kind of energy
And
from
we're
her.
gonna talk about that
Yes, we are.
because sis, yes, she delivered and not in a good way.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Not
you
in
had
a good
said it
way.
in your review about, when she was asking about like the sexual questions and things like
Mhm.
that. And it's like that's fine if you want to ask about it, but then like what lane are we in? Like are you asking because you need to know because that's not what you're into, or you need to know because that is what you're into? And so she was just kind of
Right.
like just kind
All
of
over the place. All
yeah,
over the place. It
yeah,
look. Okay. So, what do you think her? And I guess we could talk about it later on because there's a huge blow up in episode 2 that I want to talk about and get
yes.
your thoughts on. But like, what do you think the producers were thinking when they brought her on. Were they just saying, "Oh, this would be great for TV," or give me your thoughts on that?
It's the same reason they have Habibi on mess,
Okay.
mess, 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 mess. They like
That's
we.
gotta be. And that
Yeah.
was actually her opening line. She was like, they said men like to say that they like a nice woman, but they really like the drama, and I'm here for it. I immediately was like, okay, yeah, she okay, girl.
And let me say this: everybody is different, and
Right.
when a check is involved, folks will do and perform how they want to. But I can't personally, and that's I don't know what's worse, to get on national television and represent yourself in a way that is true to yourself and accurate, and it's a mess, or to misrepresent yourself
Right.
and it's fake and it's not real, but then everyone thinks in their mind that you're that person. I can't
Right.
do that because
Yeah, me
I know
either.
how I am, and it would be easy enough even for me to be on any reality show, just how expressive I am with my face. All they have to do is chop that up and throw that hell, and they'll be thinking like, "Oh, he got the worst attitude. He got a resting, what face? Like he's
Yes.
nasty. So no. So
No.
then on top of that, you choose to like let's go for it. Let's give some good TV. Like I said, you have to have a certain type of mentality to do that because I'm
Right.
not
Right.
capable.
Because you'll forever be known as this person. I mean,
Yes.
even the screenshots on my on my cover title,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't make that was not adjusted for shock factor. Like those were pictures that I saw of her, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, "Oh, girl, we need, yeah, we need some intervention." Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get into the part. So during the mixer,
Mm-hmm.
singles get together, they all start talking and having different conversations,
Mm-hmm.
some more interesting than others. Were there any conversations that stood out to you? I know you gave the cute. I promise I'm not doing because the QU. Okay.
I got you. Yeah, because
Quilla.
it throws you off. Yeah.
Thank you, Tequila. So I know we talked about the situation with Tequila asking Phil, and it was just kind of all over the place. Were there any
Mm-hmm.
other conversations that made you say, or okay, I can see this.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Um. Again, I'm gonna use a lot of references, obviously, to you because I want to pay tribute to this good commentary you've been giving us in these
Oh,
reviews.
thank you, thank
So,
you.
to I wanted to shout out Red the Thumb and Unique per your words.
Don't make me laugh. Oh my god. Okay, yes.
And I'm interested in getting your take on that because
Yes.
it was kind of an odd conversation in general, and I guess it's one of those things where like I understand how perception is because even when it comes like the whole what jobs constitute certain things, because I know
Okay.
you already said that the
Yeah.
personal trainer job is one of
Know
those.
it. Right.
It's
You know
one of
it.
those jobs,
Yes.
and I know bartenders. That's another one. It's
Musicians,
mhm, yeah.
pastors. Sorry for the church folks.
Oh,
Sorry to the church folks. Come on now. We not about to play. Okay. We here to have a real conversation.
listen, is Jamal coming?
Okay. Okay. Mr. Bryant, come to the front. Okay. 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 But keep going. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 no. You're good. And so I think like initially the conversation was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Now the thought job thing was kind of like I just thought it was a weird direction to go in, and I wanted to get your take because would you
Yeah.
say that? Because I'm wondering if the shoe was on the other foot, and Red had started out saying that. Do you think that would have been just kind of kind of messed up?
Yeah, that's a really great question because I originally in my first review of the first episode I was like I didn't see anything wrong with it. It is a thought job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when he said that this is my job in the second episode, he was like, "This is my job. This is how I make a living. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want anyone to disrespect me." And I thought about Tamra from the Bell Collective and how Damon basically
Said, yeah,
said that all you do is sit on your butt all day. So I
right.
was like, that's pretty messed up. And I think that if the shoe was on the other foot,
Mm.
it would have been hell to pay for sure. You know, all the, feminists and womanists would have been like, what do you mean it's a thought job? We have our rights. And I would have been totally with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
fight for your rights, girl. So I also, in the spirit of equality,
I
right?
got you.
I think that her saying that, she probably could have kept that to herself. Um, just, quietly thought job in her head and, moved on. So yeah, that was my
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, because that was my only thing. Like, it's fine. Like, it's just, I get, like, as far as, and it's different because everyone's different. And me, like, the way I can joke with some folks, I kind of know how to toe the line, and I can kind of say some things that are kind of like, oh, so you got what kind of job, but I don't pull that into like a negative place. And
Right.
it's just like the way it was presented, it was just kind of like, okay. And then she was kind of like serious about it, like, yeah, that's what that is. And it was like, okay. So it was just kind of a weird place to start off on. Like, I think if you know someone better, like my friends know me, there are certain ways I can be kind of sarcastic or kind of quirky with the way I say things, but then it's like, okay, it makes sense. But if I do it with other people, it'd be like, hmm, what's going on
Right.
here?
Right.
So I think that's the only thing. I think it was too soon to maybe like say stuff like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
no, that's a good point because the way she pitched it, it didn't even sound comical. And
Right.
and I know that at the end of the day, I think in the second episode, she tried to play it off and make it seem like it was a joke.
Mm.
But I was like, sis, you didn't. I didn't hear sarcasm. I didn't hear any
Right.
comedy or inflection in your voice when you were delivering it. So, like you said, it was too soon to have that, to say that to somebody that
Mhm.
you don't even really know like that. So I agree.
Yeah. And
I
then
agree.
the last thing I'm gonna throw in is
Yeah.
Marie and Leanne.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
here for the older women because like we know how men can be very ageist, and we have this
Right.
idea, a lot of men have an idea about women of a certain age and this and this and that. So I'm always here when we have women who are older, and regardless
Right.
of how they look, but it also, we get a lot of women when they are older and they look,
Yeah.
they look good, whatever the idea of what old is, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
yeah, so
Right.
I like seeing that. So I was excited to see
Leanne.
Leanne, but that conversation with
Mm.
Marie, I'm a very, well, I consider myself to be. I'm not perfect when it comes to that, but I try to be I'm somewhat of an empath, and I feel like I have some degree of emotional intelligence. So I try to be
Mhm.
in tune with people, and I try to read the room when it comes to certain conversations. And then sometimes I get scared when it comes to handling, moments of grief and things like that,
Right.
because I know that ultimately I can't change what has happened. And I don't want it to be a situation where it's just like, oh well, just carry on. You can make, like, I don't want to do something that's disingenuous. I want you to feel
Right.
like, to really walk you through this, or just give genuine what's the word? I don't know why I suddenly blanked. Give genuine condolences.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, condolences, and well wishes, and just the way, and like I said, I don't know if it was editing, or if that's really how it went, but the way he presented that, and she was just kind of like, oh, all right, like, and then just kind of kept on pushing. I was like, oy, that's not, no.
No, not only did she keep on pushing, she said, "Oh well, the only thing that's going on in my life is I just put my dogs down." You put your girl, what?
Mm-mm. I forgot she said that.
You put your dog, huh? Did you hear what this man just said? Like, even
Yeah,
if you don't really know how to handle grief, because a lot of people don't have that
right.
you know what I mean, that second nature to like try to handle people.
Hmm.
The least you can do is not add insult to injury. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I just
Hmm.
felt like maybe, okay, if you couldn't handle that, then maybe ask, okay, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Were you close with your dad? Maybe that might have been an opportunity for her
Right.
to get
Right.
to know him and have
Exactly.
him open up, not focus on the transition, but just their
Hmm.
relationship when he was alive. So you can
Right.
get to know that person. I just think Leanne and I could tell she's intelligent, right? You could tell she
Hmm.
was a very intelligent woman. I just think that she was rusty and she
Yeah.
had been out of the game for a very long time.
Hmm.
She spends a lot of time reading and not interacting with people.
Right.
And so it just comes off very cold. It
Yeah.
just come because she just doesn't give me. I spend a lot of time with people and I deal with people on a
Right.
regular, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Po thing. Somebody, Miss Bell, she just came in the comments asking if we're live. I just mentioned that we are, so hopefully she's still in the room. Um, but she said that she should be on a, and I got, please forgive me. She said that she thought that the makeup was a little bit overdone and thought that she should have been on another reality show, not RTL, but maybe Drag Race or so. And
Oh no.
like, oh
Oh
my god,
no.
I'm not gonna lie, the makeup was a bit overdone. It was a bit overdone.
And you know what? I'm well, not glad to hear it, but I like hearing that from, especially from the women, because I know, like, you guys know, like, this
Yeah.
makeup ain't looking right. The hair, the look. So, what would you say as far as first? What would you say as far as not to take over? I'm just
No,
curious, but
no, please. This is a
yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as the group, kind of looking at the group in general, how would you say everyone just kind of looked generally as far as having their stuff together, being groomed, or having their makeup, all that kind of stuff together? And then was there anyone like individually that might have stood out?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think for the most part, everyone had it together.
Hmm.
I will say, Leanne, it was the it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
Hmm.
That she packed it on. I don't know whoever did it, packed it, packed it on. The other person, you couldn't tell during the mixer, but during the confessional looks,
Uh-huh.
it was Lee. Lee is the gym owner that
Oh,
has
okay.
the, when I tell you that bronzer, like it not blended. Like she I was just looking at, I was like, girl, you have to blend. Girl, you have got to blend. Like, please get you a sponge and work that. Please, okay? And it was
So
multiple times that I
yeah,
saw her and she had not blended her bronzer. It was getting on my nerves.
is Lee dark skinned?
Yes, she's dark
Okay,
skinned.
so it is who I was thinking of because it were moments, and I can't always tell because some people have oily skin, but there were moments where she was kind of like gleaming, but I couldn't tell if it was just like some
Mm-mm,
shine or if it was okay.
mm-mm,
That makes sense now.
mm-mm. No,
And
the shine made it worse.
right,
The shine made it worse.
yeah,
So, and I'm an oily girl too. Like my skin, I look like I'm frying chicken. So I, I do. Oh my god, I do. So I know that you need to blend, and once you're done, blend some more. You got to
yeah,
blend anyway. But yeah, that's a good question. Everybody else looked really good. Janelle, of course, my favorite.
right, right, same.
Kiera looked great. The girl who looked like Vivica Fox to
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
She Jessica, I think she looks amazing. Who else looks amazing? T T.
That's
I'm not
see.
about to fool with her. I'm not about to fool with her name today. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna
Mm-mm.
do it. She looks pretty, gorgeous girl.
Mm.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Cool.
I think that's it. Okay. So, oh, we didn't talk about Brandon. Okay, so you Brandon with the 4 kids. I don't even know if
Hmm.
we really need to even talk about him because it was kind of like a y'all tried it.
Right.
Y'all tried it. Like for real. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, so all the different conversations going on there at the obviously the mansion. It's nightfall. Tommy is going around asking all of the men who they liked, who was at their top. I think the main people that were at the top was Janelle. Um, Kira is her name, the cheerleader, Dallas
Hmm.
Cowboys. Um, who else? Sierra. I'm trying to think. Lee. All the main girls, right? All
Hmm.
the girls that right. The two were at the bottom was your friend T,
Yep.
your girl T, and my girl Leanne. So
Right.
those two were at the bottom. We find out that both were up, and Leanne ends up getting sent home. Were you surprised at all, or
Not at all,
not at
because
all?
it could have been either, but I had a feeling it was gonna be Leanne. Not just driving me
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I feel like they probably would like let's keep T on just for a little bit more, shock. So
Hmm.
anyway, so Leanne goes home to Keela. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry to that woman. Sorry to that woman. I'm gonna just call her Tequila. Tequila is having an emotional reaction. Marier is there, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right too. Is there to kind of like give her some words of encouragement. What did you think about that reaction?
Well, from her or from Maria?
Both or
Both.
either. It's up to you.
Okay. Um, I guess it was just kind of off-putting to me because it's like, and again, like I said, maybe there's something that got lost in translation with the editing and all that, but it feels like her energy was kind of off with a lot of the guys and a lot of her interactions, and it was real kind of like, like there was just like, yeah. And so to me, to kind of go from that to then, I mean, not, and I guess it's tough because there are dimensions to people, so I can
Mhm.
understand how you present yourself with people, and maybe when you realize, oh, no one's feeling me, you can still maybe have a sensitive side, but I just almost felt like, just give what she was based off of what she was given, I would expect more of a defensive thing, more kind of like, oh,
Right.
what you mean you don't like, because that's, I already was getting some, some weird energy. So I was kind of surprised when she was that emotional. I like that, Morier was, supportive there. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I don't want anyone, even if I'm a little on the person, I still don't want anyone to like, be upset, crying, so I want people to not feel, at their lowest. But it did throw me given what I saw from earlier.
Right. Yeah. I thought, and this was just my general, just well, not general, but my immediate thought was that okay, so Marier is here having this conversation with her. Maybe she'll try to start building a connection with him, right? Like, not she put him in the like you literally saw how she had just friend zoned him and was like, "Not thanks for the encouragement. I'm about to run over here to to Hakeem because he's the realest here." Like,
Yeah, yeah, she chucked them deuces was on her. I was like, oh, okay.
right,
Yeah, thank you for the pep talk.
right,
I feel pumped and it's time to
right.
go. Yeah,
I'm gonna go run right into this wall. Like, girl, what? Girl, what is going? I was looking at her like, oh, okay, it's a sucker born every second, and
absolutely.
I see it was you.
Yes.
I see it was you, sis. Like, and again, no disrespect to Tequila, but girl, it was you're not moving in a very smart manner. Okay,
Not at all.
so yeah, so I thought that that was what was going to happen, but then she pivots and goes to Habibi, and they're having conversations, and he brings up the whole cheating. Would you cheat on me? And every other woman on the show was like, boy, if you don't get the hell out of my face, she bit
Hard.
hard. like we go together. Like, I'm like hard, like down bad, like girl, down bad. Like, we go together. This my man, my man, my man, my man. And Habibi girl, okay, girl. Okay. Okay.
I think just even the I just like, I feel like that's just such a, even if you do like somebody, if you're gonna just go this hard for someone who's this questionable, at least have the dignity to not place yourself in that context in a question like, oh, let's like, yes, I'll be a cheater for you. No,
Right, right.
no.
Like, where does the I don't know, the adults, the where does the I don't know what she doing. What are
Mm.
you doing, sis? What are you doing? Hey, Tammy. Shout out
Hey,
to Tammy, y'all. She is amazing. Go check out her review. She also reviews Ready to Love,
okay.
and Love and Marriage Detroit. So check her out for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Somebody
No,
call
no,
her
no,
Taekwondo.
no,
Who
you
is
got.
that? That's what we do need to we do need to call her that.
There we go.
Taekwondo. That's it.
Especially after the second episode. That there you go.
Okay, that's exactly, especially after the second episode. Okay, so to we get to eliminations of the guys, because now I think that They heard all of the complaints because,
Hmm.
they were always sending all the men home all the time, right?
Right.
And leaving it just a small number of men for all the women to fight over. So they're
Hmm.
trying to do an equal number of eliminations.
Yeah.
So now the evening is wrapped up. Tommy's gone around, asked all the women who they want at the bottom. We have surprise, Habibi,
Hmm.
Habibi, and Brandon with the 4 kids.
Hmm.
So, because they left it off on a cliffhanger, what were your thoughts? Who did you think was gonna go home?
Um, it was very apparent to me. It was really easy. It was very clear to me. But let me say this about Brandon really quickly. I don't think with Brandon, I think the red flag, and obviously I'm not a woman, but I'm just saying, but the red
Yeah,
flag to me was more so the 6 months, off of a divorce. I'm like, you have healing to do. You have a lot of stuff you need to work through. And I understand like people kind of like, I don't know. I think people have this mentality. There are a few mentalities. You just kind of like, deal with it and you keep on pushing and it's whatever. And then some people have this mentality where it's like, the best way to get over the last one is get under the, and
get
it's just
under a
like,
new
y'all,
one.
like you have stuff you need to deal with. That is not a
Yes,
good, a
yes,
good way to go. So the
yeah,
thing is, I understand the idea of like, okay, maybe I can find love again, but I just think that that's still way too fresh.
yeah,
I still can't believe we're 6 months into this year, and it feels like I can't believe we're already
right,
like almost to the end of July. So
right.
time goes by fast. So I know he hasn't really processed anything because outside of that, I would say like him trying to make work things out with his wife a second time, trying to have a stable home for his kids and all that. I don't think any of that's bad. It's not like he was like we've seen some of these men with all kinds of babies, mothers, and all
He
that.
was the dude who had was married like 4 or 5 times. It was somebody.
And then it was somebody on I think it was the resort season first episode. He had just had a baby. Either he had a baby on the way or
Yes,
just had a baby. I was like,
yes.
no,
No,
no.
what is happening? Yeah, yeah. Keep going.
So
I didn't mean to cut your thought off. Go ahead.
no, 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 you're good. So I think I would say like the other stuff. I mean, if the women aren't feeling him, that's fine. And I'm not suggesting anyone should. If that's not the standard, if that's not what you're feeling, then don't go for it. But
Right.
to me, that was the bigger issue compared to everything else. And because I know how this show works, because I know how long they kept around that clown Corey on the
Oh
DC
my
season, I was like, Habibi
God.
is not going home.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought the same thing. I was like, it's gonna be Brandon. He's not enough of a shock factor
Exactly.
for yeah, that's exactly. Ooh, clown Corey. I forgot about him.
Oh my gosh, them
Oh
them
my
them faces and them dramatics, I could not take him.
they I would have been really mad. If I was on the cast, I would have been real mad at production. Like y'all tried it. Y'all tried it. They tried it. Anyway, we back we back because I almost transported over there and we got mad
Yeah.
again. Okay, so let's talk about episode 2. So it's getting Thot in here. At first I was like, what? But then I remembered the whole situation with Unique and
Right.
yes, yes, you're absolutely right, Tammy. Corey was a whole mess. A whole
Ooh.
damn mess. Like
And I don't
y'all
I
y'all
don't know what I don't know what old girl was thinking. I cannot think of her name right now. She was beautiful, but
Oh yes, she had that name. I can't remember her name, but
yeah,
she
she
had
was
the
dark.
veil.
Yeah, and she was darker skinned and everything. She was a beautiful woman, but then it was almost like, oh my gosh, Corey's the one. I'm like, are you just trying to stay on the show? Because man,
Right,
what's going on?
girl, him, girl, him. Okay, girl. Yeah, no, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Okay, so we pick up from the cliffhanger. It's Brandon. It's Habibi.
Mhm.
We know Brandon goes home. He's kind of cool with it because he knows, I'm fresh out of this relationship. Love
Mhm.
is still on the horizon for me. I pity anybody who he meets. Lord, please have the strength, wisdom, and understanding to know he is not ready. But
Right.
you know how. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So they're asking Habibi in the confessional. What are your thoughts? You down? You were at the bottom. You almost got voted off. He blatantly looks us dead in the eye in the camera with no shame and says, "Oh, it's their fault. Anybody who wasn't feeling me or unfeeling me. What was the word that he used? I can't even remember.
It probably was something similar to that.
I mean,
Unfeeling.
yes, somebody, something. absolutely ignorant. And I was just
Right.
like, boy, are you okay? Are you okay? Did you take your meds today? Are you okay? Let me not. Oh, let me.
Or maybe this was too tight, and it's just like the
Yes,
blood ain't getting all the way
that
there.
is okay. That's what it had to be. Like it was on too tight. That's it.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay, so get in thought. It's getting thought in here. They have the brunch, the RTL brunch. They all come
Mhm.
in. They eating food. Da 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 da. So yes, unconnected girl, just unconnected, not
It
not
ain't there.
together, not
No.
together at all. Just Lord, okay, please. So they have the brunch. I'm trying to think of conversations that stood out. I will say Red and Unique. Here goes Red again. The thumb. He is so not, let me not talk about people's appearance, but if I were to put him on the scale of who was attractive, he would be at the bottom.
Okay,
For me.
let me just, and I'll say this. I feel like, and I'm promise I'm not trying to be funny, but I feel like
No.
they do this at almost, if not every season, then almost every season. It's like they have one older guy who's kind of like off looking. They really do that every season. Because I want to say the last season wasn't it the like the French guy who kept talking about like
Oh my
sex,
God, yes.
who was giving me
Yes.
Nasty Nelson from
Nasty. Oh
Boomerang.
man. Yeah. Okay. So he said he was 41. How old did he say he was?
Who? Wait, who?
The French man from before.
Yeah, I think he said. Yeah, I think he was like, yeah, like probably 41 or early 40s or something like that.
That was a hard 40. That was
It was.
that was that
It
was a
was.
hard 40. I was in there trying to do my math and my calculations
Mm,
based on what he was telling the timeline of when he started his business and when he moved to France. I was
right.
like writing it down. I'm like,
Mm,
are you sure?
yeah. Do you know
Are
who
you
I'm talking
sure?
about when I mentioned Nasty Nelson?
No, who is that?
Have you seen Boomerang?
Yes.
You remember when Marcus he gave the guy I can't think of what the word is, but he's over like his production for the advertising, and he was the one who came up with the kissable with the cherries and the banana and the ice cream and kissing the lipstick, and
This is
then
when
when
they were
they
coming up with the campaign for Grace Jones' character, right?
it was before, yeah, it was before that. They had one separate one. His initials like the opening scenes, and it's like kissable, and he has like fruit, and it's like the woman is like, you
Oh,
know,
yes, yes.
yes.
Okay,
And he
yes.
was like, he's like, okay, Nelson, like, can we? Okay, I like that. I like that. Can we lose the banana? Can we take the cherries out? Okay, like nasty, chill out, nasty Nelson. And then because Jacqueline has him so rattled, later
Yes.
on, he's just like, okay, Nelson, you can just take charge. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, go ahead. He's like, oh. And then he
So he
goes
created
off,
the
and then we see
nasty
that
Nelson.
monstrosity of a
Yes.
commercial.
Okay. Okay. I don't remember his face, but I
Yeah.
know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
they
don't
look
trust him
similar
with
and
creative.
they look similar and act similar. That's who I thought of last season.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm about to go back and watch that movie. You're absolutely right. Yes. I have like a thought of what he looks like, but
Yeah,
I remember that you don't trust him with creative direction. Don't give
exactly.
him nothing because he gonna turn it into a soft porn, is what he's going
Exactly.
to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried it. You're absolutely right. They always do put some I don't irregular. I don't want to call it irregular.
Not a regular.
I mean, he not a bag at Ross or nothing. Like I'm just,
Right.
I mean, forgive me, Jesus. Y'all, you know what I mean,
I
right?
got
Like
you.
he
I
just,
got you.
unconventional.
There we go. Unconventional.
Yes, an unconventional in appearance. Yes,
Yes.
I'll say that. They
Yes.
always do that. Now I'm realizing that.
Yep.
I felt like the camera was fake focused on Marvin a lot. We haven't talked about Marvin yet.
Hmm.
Low key, I kind of got a little crush on Marvin. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, you on the Marvin is the Dom, correct?
Yes, he is. I like
Yes.
Marvin.
I was
Now,
like, oh my,
right?
Belle is on the prowl. Rrr. Okay. I was like, okay. That's what's up. Listen, I'm
Not
not
on the
mad.
prowl.
I'm not
Not
mad.
on the prowl. Just intrigued. Just intrigued. I would be interested. Now I don't want to do no live shows or no foolishness like that. That's
No.
crazy. I'm not. No, thank you. It's a no for me. But I'd be interested. Take a
Oh,
little peek. See what's going
not a little bit.
on. Just a little peek. Yeah. So so all the women are like, no, we're not here for it. That's
Right.
actually who I thought was gonna end up going home.
Hmm.
In the second episode, I'm like, the camera's focusing on Marvin. He's probably gonna go home. All the
Hmm.
women are like, we not here for it. The
Hmm.
only woman who is here for him is Unique. So I don't really know how long he's gonna last.
Right.
Um, somebody was talking about poo. Do you remember hearing that? Somebody said I can't poo.
Did somebody? They said they couldn't.
I can't remember who said it. I was like, what the hell conversation is
I think I missed
this?
that.
Yes. I was like, what are y'all talking about? I don't remember who said it,
Yeah.
but I know I heard it,
Yeah.
right? I don't
Oh.
remember who said it.
See, now I got to go back and,
You
and
gotta go
listen.
back. You gotta go back. They were sitting at a picnic table. They were
Oh
sitting at a
wow.
picnic table. And I was like, who the hell? Whoever, what woman, because it was a woman saying it. I'm like, she put you in a friend zone because we're not talking about that kind of thing.
No.
We're not talking about it. No.
No.
So, okay, the conversation with Red and Unique. Let me know, what are your thoughts? Because Red decided he was gonna go back and settle the score with
Okay.
Unique.
Okay. So here's where. So here's. Okay. So that's why I'm glad we talked about it in the first
Yes.
episode, because so
Yes.
we kind of established the vibe.
Yeah.
Now I can only speak for myself. And to me, I would have been clear like the first time around. I don't know what would have happened to maybe disrupt it to where I felt like I needed to bring it up again. But for me, it would just be like if I feel like if that's how you feel, then we're not in sync, because I just feel like that's not how I want to be perceived. Like
Right.
in my profession and things like that. And I felt like even if okay, let's just say I somehow things worked out and I just wanted to like maybe we can work things out, but I want to be clear about maybe boundaries or having a conversation about that. I would have made it clear like, hey, I don't know if you were serious about that, but I do take my job seriously and I wouldn't blur the lines. I think it's important to be professional, such and such. So I don't know if you actually thought that, but I just wanted to clear that up. And I think the fact that Red decided to like take it to the, okay, well, you got this job, well, maybe you thought. And I get it that it's kind of like now that the shoe is on the other foot, like we were saying, like you don't like it. I get that part, but I just think it comes off very kind of petty and immature, kind of juvenile, and then it's gonna make her think, like she's obviously gonna just feel that, like that energy you're coming at her with. So it wouldn't have been my way of dealing with
He seemed like he was sitting on that all night long and was like, I'm
it.
coming back. I'm
Right.
coming back. And I'm gonna get her. Like that's how he
Hmm.
came. And I'm just like, sir, it's all these beautiful women. This one woman who said you had a
Right.
thought job. That's the easiest eliminate. I don't want her. That's like the easiest
Yeah. That's
way
it. That's
to
it.
like cross her off your list and go about your business.
Hmm.
When he did that, I said, there was a couple things that I got from him. Obviously, you said that he was petty,
Hmm.
but I also felt like his ego is larger than life. Like
Hmm.
so big that he just could not take this little
Hmm.
woman. And again, it was disrespect. It was disrespect. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie to you.
Yeah, I got you.
But to go seek her out with yesterday's energy, I was
Hmm.
like, boy, if you don't sit down and you on the bottom of the list of attractive, and
Oh,
you have you're unconventional, unconventionally attractive, I'll say, please pipe down, pipe down. Just take your L quietly and go eat your bacon. Okay, like that's all you need to do. Like that's it.
you know what that sounds like? There was a
What?
show that I heard this line from, but
What?
basically, and there was another context that they used that I'm not going to use that
Okay.
version of it because it's a very in your face show. But they
Oh, okay.
basically said that you can't be ugly and mean, or you can't be ugly and disrespectful. Like you need to you either need to be like a handsome, or like you need to be an attractive sociopath or evil person, or you need to have like beauty within and in your heart, and and bring joy everywhere you go, because you can't do both. You need to
You
pick
can't
one
do both.
struggle.
Pick a struggle. Yeah, absolutely right. I don't remember where that came from, but I do remember saying it. I
Mhm.
don't remember where it came from, but you're absolutely right. Pick a struggle, Red. We can't. You can't live in both. You just can't, sweetheart. I'm sorry, dear. Okay. Any other conversations in the mixer that stood out to you? Anything before we move on to the group dates?
Yeah, not at that point. It was kind of, and I'm trying to remember. Do they always like the beginning of every second episode? Is it always a brunch?
It's always the brunch. Yep.
That's what I thought. I was like, I feel like they always do this. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm starting to see like I guess they're trying to set up a formula for us or whatever so that
yeah,
we can just get used to. Yeah. So it's always the brunch, and then after the brunch, they start doing the group dates.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even
So we
though,
have. Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say, even though, like you said, it doesn't really make sense to eliminate off the bat. You at least get
No.
past the first couple of episodes, then go from there.
Right. I'm gonna ask you towards the predictions. What would the best setup for the show be if you could like rewrite the way things go? So we'll get to
Right.
that. Okay, so we go to group dates. We are at this bowling slash football. It's like this
Hmm.
new thing where people throwing a
Yeah,
football at a bowl. I haven't
yeah,
been, but I'm seeing it everywhere.
yeah.
It's Kira, it's Janelle, it is Phil, Habibi, and your girl T. Your girl T. Taekwondo. That's what we gonna
There
call
we
her.
go.
Yes, and Taekwondo. So I felt like this scene was just awkward off rip. I don't know if it was Taekwondo's energy, which I'm probably pretty sure it was.
Hmm.
I feel like I feel like she immediately zeroed in on Janelle from for whatever reason. For whatever reason. Go ahead. You have something you wanted
Oh,
to
no, 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 no. I was just gonna say that this may not be the only reason, but she said something that was telling later on, and so we'll
Yep.
discuss that
We'll
then.
get it. Yes, exactly. Yep, you're absolutely right. So, they're all having a conversation. Taekwondo is calling out Phil, like, I've got a bone to pick. Literally uses the phrase, "I have a bone to pick with you." What happened to our connection? What did you think about that interaction?
Okay, say it one more time. Just making sure
Oh,
I'm clear.
no, no, you're fine.
Mm.
So before Janelle gets there and she
Yeah,
zeroes in on her,
right.
she's kind of gotten her claws in Phil, asking him, I've got a bone to pick with you. What happened to our connection?
Oh, wait a minute. So Phil is the guy that they had. Let me know.
Phil is the guy that she had the conversation with, asking him about his sexual
Okay,
experiences.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I was like,
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I was mixing somebody else. I was thinking of somebody else.
We're still
Um,
new, so we still trying to figure out who is what. So no, I
y-
understand.
yeah, I was gonna say I try to be on my P's and Q's, but it's so many people.
Yeah,
But yeah, that threw me because it's kind of like like okay, because it's just like you already sent all kinds of mixed signals in the conversation. Your energy is off. I mean, just watching it, I'm not even there, but just
hmm
watching it, I just kind of felt like, something's off here. And so I would imagine if you're having this conversation and you're not sure what direction we're going in, I'm probably not going to be inclined to continue on. I'll probably be like, okay, I mean, we can be cool, but I'm probably not going to continue on. And I just think again, mixed signals. Like, I don't know, like, did she really walk away from that thinking like, oh my gosh, like we're so in tune? Or was she thinking like, ugh, I can't stand them? I have no idea. So it was
right,
weird when she was just like, what happened to our connection? It's just like, is this how you're gonna what did Portia say? Are we gonna start the day off with
right,
negativity?
right. Exactly, exactly. And if
Yeah,
you thought that you had a chance with him, is that how you're gonna approach him?
right.
I don't know. I can't. Oh, hey, Harold.
Hey,
Hey. No, I'm with you. I was like, girl, please take your L. Like again, just take your L. Like
just take it.
quietly take L's. Quietly. Do you know what I mean? Because
I
what's the
say
point?
I say it all the time. Just take it and move on.
Yes. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
cross them off your list and move on. So
Right.
Janelle gets here. Janelle gets in. My girl, I love her, but I know she gonna embarrass me. I can already tell.
Hmm.
I guess I'm gonna try to stick beside her. She comes in and their taekwondo zeroes in, right?
Mhm.
Hey Janelle, how you doing? Did you meet anybody? Are you connecting with people? Who are your connections? I'm like, girl, why are you so concerned with what Janelle got going on? Please sit down. Again, what are your initial thoughts? Tell me.
I just, yeah, it's just kind of like, it's just like, why are we suddenly like zero? Oh, and you know what? I forgot, because at the end of yeah, I believe it was at the end of no, it was at the end of the first episode. I believe it might have been, I think it was Habibi. It was basically at the end when the women were having their discussion about who they liked and who they didn't like.
Oh yeah.
Sequilla had gotten like upset, because Janelle and two of the other ladies were saying how they didn't like like a couple of people. I think Habibi was the main person that they were
Yeah.
mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's like she was kind of sitting there like, oh, so, and it was like this weird thing that was going on that she was kind of directing there. And they were like, okay, so, okay. And they didn't really say anything. You could tell they were just kind of looking like, all right, like, what are you upset about?
Right.
So then it's like we're hopping back in with this, and she's immediately picking right back up from, I guess, that situation.
Okay.
I don't know what the goal is here, and it's just like you can tell when someone's asking, even if you're not the biggest fan of them, but you can tell when someone is asking and maybe trying to smooth things over and like, oh well, have you made any connections or how things been? And we're like, oh, so what's going on? And yeah,
Right.
and oh, and it's like, no, 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 like I know what's going on here. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Are you talking about Tequila? Why does she seem to have unwarranted spoke for Janelle? Habibi isn't
Mhm.
anybody's man. So why is Tequila so pressed? You're absolutely right. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
He ain't nobody man. And
Mhm.
he don't need to be nobody man. But she gonna stick beside him. I agree with you. Like I thought the you would think that the angle she was coming from would be like trying to repair or mend whatever
Mhm.
relationship that she has, whatever
Mhm.
story she's got in her mind about Janelle,
Mhm.
but it didn't come off as that either. It just came off as prying.
Yeah.
Maybe almost trying to catch her agenda so she can be on the same wavelength. Because if
Right.
you notice, she was like, "Oh, who are you connecting with?" Janelle says, "I'm connecting with Red." Where the hell did that come from?
I out of nowhere, like I
Out
said,
of
was this what
no.
was the footage on the cutting room floor?
I mean, please pick it up because we need to see. I need to see. I need to see where did you go wrong? Where did you go wrong, Janelle? But anyway, so she says, I'm feeling red. And then Taekwondo says, oh, I'm feeling red too. So it almost felt like, are you trying to catch her agenda so you can one up her? Like everybody that you feeling, you're gonna try to go after everybody she goes after, you gonna try to as well. I mean, she just seems that unhinged that she
At
would do
this,
it.
I mean, I no, that's why I kept making these face because I was just like, I mean, but it's just one. I was, as you were saying, I was just like, just trying to wrap in my mind again around the fact that like we were really doing this, but then on
Exactly.
top of it, it's just kind of like, um, what's the end game in
Exactly.
doing that? It's so
Exactly.
bizarre.
Yeah, the things her and Habibi, they need to ride off into the sunset together. They need to
Yeah,
ride off in the sunset.
absolutely.
So Red, I guess, is being bashful. He's blushing, etc. Whatever. Yuck and yikes. They then they then pivot. Taekwondo is pivoting to Janelle again and asking her about her connection with Habibi. And so Janelle is like, I mean, her body language automatically she stiffens. She's like, Habibi, who? I don't know who the hell you talking about. They sitting right next to each other, but she didn't even turn to acknowledge him. And I wouldn't have either, quiet
Right.
as kept. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have either. So Red,
Yeah,
Janelle,
yeah.
please. That seems like it would have been that would like it would be another Liz and Jason. Liz and Jason. Who is that?
Is
Oh,
is is
oh.
Liz the one who was like the really sweet?
Yes,
Yeah,
I don't want to say virgin, but the woman who was abstaining from sex
yeah,
and
from sex.
yes, yes. Thank you. I didn't want to say virgin. I didn't think she was virgin. But anyway, yes. Okay, Janelle's too mature for one. Yeah, but Janelle also has insecure. She got some insecurities.
Yeah, yeah,
So when you have that going on, sometimes you're not playing with a full. I don't want to say
yeah,
full deck, but with all the arsenal you need, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah. So the whole Habibi situation comes up.
Mm,
Janelle tells us in the confessional that Habibi said some things that were inappropriate. She wants nothing to do with him.
mm.
She says that he mentioned something about her body, and I'm like, oh my god, did he call her? Did he talk about her weight? Or that
That's
was my initial thought.
that was my initial thought too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, give it to Habibi saying some ignorance, right? I mean,
Mhm.
what he said was still some ignorance, but
Yeah.
it's worse than what I thought. It was like way
Right.
worse than what I thought. Borderline like press charges could be pressed, right?
Yeah.
So um I don't know if you caught this, but as soon as they started asking Janelle about the situation with Habibi, and she's like, I don't want to talk about it, Habibi is like, oh T, let's go over to such and such. And I was like, yeah,
Oh
you don't want
wow.
Janelle to open up the can because you're not trying to
Mhm.
answer no questions. You don't want everybody to have, you know what I mean? Everybody
I
be in
got
the
you.
same
Yeah.
room,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so uh Habibi takes Taekwondo over into the section. They're
Mhm.
playing together. What are your thoughts on that interaction?
Okay,
Do you
so it's
remember it?
Janelle and who else?
This is Taekwondo, and that's the name I'm absolutely going to stick to.
I believe it.
Taekwondo and Habibi, and they're
Mhm.
talking to. Oh, thank you.
Oh, I
You said
appreciate you,
hi.
man. Yeah, I appreciate the
Yes,
support.
yes. Um. Okay, yeah. So Taekwondo and Habibi are talking, and they're talking, having a conversation about previous relationships. And this is when
Oh.
Habibi opens up proudly, saying it with his chest that he was a cheater. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So I'm gonna say because I really want to say some stuff about uh Taekwondo, as you said. I want to say some stuff, but I almost feel like it's more. I'd rather encompass it all towards the end. So
Yeah. Okay.
even though it really fits here, but
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. Like there are two things. There are two ways to look at it. I can
Okay.
appreciate honesty and transparency because if you did it, you did it. There's no point lying about it,
Right.
and that's fine. And maybe if you're trying to acknowledge that these are things that I did and I had to learn from it, that's fine. I felt like that's where he was trying to pivot to towards the end. But because this is Habibi and because of what we've heard and the stuff he just said to Janelle, it's just like
Mhm.
you can't say things like that to women. And it's not even, I'm not even just trying to make it about just cheating in what you say, but it's like it's character. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my thing is, I would never, I'm talking about, let me just be very transparent. Like I have a friend of
Yeah.
mine, and we haven't talked about the specifics of it, but for the longest, even though she knows, we're cool, we have a platonic, friendship,
Yeah.
but she was very iffy about, we go out to watch movies, we hang out, we're genuinely good friends, but for the longest, she was very iffy about having, because I have movie nights with everybody. I love, just getting together, watching the show, movie, whatever, playing some video games. But she was very iffy about doing that because she had been in, some situations where she had been made uncomfortable when she was in close
Yeah.
proximity.
Yeah.
And, she was like, well, if we do that, can we just have some, another, woman there and such. And it was one of those things where I wasn't frustrated, like I wasn't like angry about it, but I hope that at some point we would get to somewhere where she would feel comfortable enough to trust
Comfortable.
me. But I
Mhm.
also told her, like, if you never get there, I want us to still be able to have a friendship to where you're like, hey, this guy isn't out to get, he can respect those boundaries. And I was like, okay, and that's good. So we just go to the movies, we go to this restaurant, we can do whatever else. And this isn't the point of this, but very, very recently, we've known each other for like some years now. She was like, I think I want to, is it okay if we hang out and do like a movie night, like a new, like movie gathering, let's play some games. And we did that. And I told her, even when I told her and she sat down, I was like, look, you got to hop in the car midway through because you're like, I don't know, and you feel some stuff coming up, that's cool. We can go to the movie theater. We can grab some, so we can go to the nearest burger place. That's
Yes.
fine. And so she was laughing, but she was like, well, I just appreciate, and like I said, it's not about me, but it's just about me understanding that the relationship, whether it's friendship or whatever, I want you to be good with me. I want you to know that you
Right.
can trust me, because it's too many men, unfortunately, out here trying to get whatever. So I feel like I would never, in any sense of the word, I would never want a woman to feel uncomfortable around me. I mean, period.
Ever.
Like that's just
Ever.
ever,
Yeah.
ever. Whether it's even unintentionally,
Right.
I'll things I'm not aware of. So I just think I feel like the fact that you feel comfortable enough and bold enough to say things like, "Hey, I want to blank, blank, blank."
Yes.
You can't have any respect, for any woman to say that. And then with the cheating stuff, you can't have any, if you can't respect someone enough, a stranger, because you don't know
Right.
this woman, then
Right.
how do I expect that you will respect your own relationship enough to not cheat and to not. So that was the main
Exactly.
thing I was thinking.
No, I agree with you. That was one of the things that I said, that I didn't feel a sense of protection, like you, and not protection from like, oh, you're gonna fight the bad guys for me, but like, are you going to protect me as a person,
Hmm.
protect who I am as an individual, like that kind of. I didn't get that.
Hmm.
I don't get those things. Like, I wouldn't trust him with anything. Like, I wouldn't trust him with my grandma's cat. Like,
Right.
nothing. He could
Right.
he couldn't have anything that I have,
Hmm.
because he would mess it up.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I know exactly what he won't handle it well.
Yeah.
He'll ruin it.
Exactly.
I got you. And that's why I'm looking at Taekwondo, like, girl, the flags, girl, they fly in, girl. Red paintballs are just like coming at you, and you're like, "La, la, la, la." Girl, I am so like Tammy Talk said, I'm concerned. I'm
Right.
so concerned.
Exactly.
Like, how do you live like this, right? So switching over to the fun and games, right? And I know we'll talk about Taekwondo and Habibi a little bit later on.
Mhm.
So we're switching to the fun and games. Janelle, Red, and Kira are playing the football game, bowling game.
Mhm.
And Red is getting a little handsy with Kira. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, that part right there was a little awkward to me.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. To this day, I'm still trying to like figure out, why was I feeling awkward about that. I immediately wanted to be like, get your hand off that girl.
Mhm.
But she's an adult, and if she was okay with it, that's
Mhm.
all I can say. But there was an exchange between, I wanted to break down every scene because we'll be on here all night. But
Mhm.
so Red asked Kira, will you let me lead?
Mhm.
Right? Which I could stand on my soapbox about that
Oh, I
all
know.
night long.
Yeah, we already know.
Don't do cut that cut it out. Okay,
Right.
cut that out. Right. So in that moment, I guess Red is trying to break the physical barrier. He is breaking that physical barrier where he touches Kira. I think he even goes as far as picking her up, or maybe
Yeah,
he's
fix
not
her
there.
up.
He picks
Hmm.
her up and throws her over his
His
shoulder.
shoulder. Hmm.
And Janelle is like, like, So tell me, what were your thoughts in that scene?
Okay. So again, and this is not excuses. I just know that sometimes because there's a lot of hours that they film this stuff. I know,
Mm-hmm.
and people have said it before, and they'll talk about the stuff on interviews and behind the scenes, that there are things that we don't always see. So I want to just make sure that there may be the possibility that maybe we're seeing there are conversations we're not seeing, or and I know it's still a short amount of time, so maybe that's not the case, but it just sometimes feels like we're jumping so quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe these people feel comfortable jumping quickly,
Yeah.
but I just was kind of like, where was the middle ground between when you guys met and then being like, hey, let's pick up and this and this and that.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm not, and like I said, this isn't me. Everyone's different, and even some women maybe are kind of like, maybe they want to, however they want to deal with a guy. Maybe that's a little more fun, flirty, whatever. It just seemed kind of soon to be doing that kind of stuff. Now, like, I don't know if you wanted to like, pound or like pop or like, I don't know, something to where it's like it's physical touch, but it's kind of like friendly, fun, we're
Right.
competing, something like that. But
Right.
I just think to be grabbing up on and doing all that, I'm like, it's just too soon. Like if this is like further in and you guys have known each other and you are like fully comfortable, like, oh, because that's part of the, body language and all that kind of stuff. I get
Right.
it. But I just like it was very soon to be doing that to me.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And then Janelle's response was she didn't yeah, a lot of men don't, thanks Joan, a lot of men don't really understand boundaries. I would say a lot of men like don't under Red and Habibi.
Hmm.
I feel like they tote the line when it
Hmm.
comes to boundaries and
Yeah.
really understanding what that truly means.
Yeah.
Um
And I was gonna say real quickly, and the
yeah, go
thing
ahead.
is, like with my story, and I think like I wasn't saying that to be like, hey, I'm the one,
No,
No,
no.
I know I didn't think you thought that, but the reason why I wanted to say that is because unfortunately that should kind of just be the general like, hey, respect boundaries and be patient and just and like I said, this wasn't a romantic thing, but even if it was, I would you think I want her to feel
Right.
unsafe in any sense of the word. So
Right.
it's like I'm cool falling back, and as a matter of fact, sometimes it's not a good thing because I'm cool with someone really thinking I don't like them, even though I really, really do. It's like I'd rather you not know because I don't want to show all that cooties and all that. But yeah,
We'll have to
but
talk offline because I want to be nosy. But
of
okay,
course you
keep
do.
going.
But
Yes,
no, but
you
yeah,
know it.
but I was just saying that should not, unfortunately, sometimes situations like mine, a lot of times that's the exception to the rule when that should just be the kind of the standard. Know how to
Yeah,
kind of fall back, and then as you get to know, like, okay, we can get there.
yeah. But I think I completely agree. Like that's just, I don't want to say common courtesy, but to me, I feel like almost like human decency. Like if you're
Right?
respecting an individual as an
Yes.
individual, then that's kind of what goes along with it. But we're dealing with a whole different breed. We different
Mm-hmm.
we dealing with breeds that think that they're entitled to certain
Hmm.
things for whatever reason. I have
Hmm.
theories, but we don't have that kind of time.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think that rule of thumb kind of gets thrown out the window when it
Hmm.
comes to so, and it's unfortunate. But with that being said, it also means we need to keep our head on the swivel because we don't have time to be dealing with, you know what I mean, people who cross boundaries, right?
Absolutely.
Habitual line steppers, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-mm.
yeah. So Janelle pipes up, shows her hand. I was like cringing. Janelle, please be quiet. The man that you being all possessive over, girl, please. Now I could see if it was like Boris Kojo or somebody, I don't know, somebody, anybody, please, anybody. But Red, this is who you're being possessive over. You're saying it out loud and making it even worse. You are attacking Kira, saying that she young, calling her a little girl, saying her bag was fake. Like, are you okay?
Okay,
Yeah,
so here's the thing,
yeah.
and like I said, sometimes you can say that you can. It's easy. I'm not talking about this, but and I've done this too. It's very easy to kind of like poke fun at yourself and be funny, and be sarcastic about things that may be like real issues.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are times where you can poke fun at it, but it's still like a present issue. So it's almost like you're telling on yourself a little bit.
Yes.
So the fact that she was talking about the abandonment issues and was talking about, if you go in the bathroom, like, where you at? Where you at? I know this is supposed to be funny. I get what you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to poke fun at, but clearly there's a deeper issue
Yes.
there.
Yes.
So to me, I just feel like, and regardless of attractiveness, although it does make it worse, because
It
like you
does.
said, you're kind of thinking like, all
It
this
does.
for who?
It does. It does.
Right. But it's just kind of like I just don't know what the goal is in going at other women when it comes to men because like I don't know. Like to me, it doesn't really make sense.
No.
Because the thing is, like you doing all that is not going to make him choose you over her. I mean, and some guys they'll just turn them off.
Right.
Or some guys like that stuff where it's like, oh, they fighting over me. But
Yeah.
but my issue is all that stuff. If he's really into Kira, you doing all rah, 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 all that stuff is not going to change that. If he wants her, then he's going to go after her. He don't want you, he'll just be like, okay, sorry, no thanks.
Right.
So it's weird to me to go at women in your pursuit of a man, and even how that speaks sometimes to the whole thing. Women go at, like, you can't keep a man, and like all that kind of stuff. I don't get how women go with each other for the sake of men, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, wait, I might have to go back and watch Friday's episode. We not feeling Janelle. No, we are here in support of Janelle. We just know that she's gonna embarrass us later on because of the way she was coming at Kira
Hmm.
and how she interacts. She has a slick mouth,
Hmm.
which I get that. I do, because I
I do
also have.
too.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So just slick. I'll be like, oh God, why did I say that? And it
Right.
just comes out. It just comes out. You just can't. Anyway, we are in full support of Janelle. We just
Yeah.
know it's gonna be some things with her. So
Yeah, it's looking shaky. Like we're
it's
seeing little
looking
stuff here and there.
just a little shaky. Just a little. Okay, so Janelle is insulting Kira and all the things. They kind of wrap up that scene with Janelle talking to Red and how close they are, and I'm just thinking like, oh God, Janelle, okay, girl, where we going with this? So we switch. Any thoughts on that scene? Because I was gonna get to Aries and her house date or the house group date.
No, no, no. You good. We're all good.
Okay. So we move over to Aries, and
Hmm.
Aries is also a very beautiful woman, and she's
Hmm.
also a voluptuous woman,
Hmm.
which I love to see it. Gorgeous, gorgeous face, um, and everything else. She is having a house date, which I was kind of like, y'all couldn't afford to take us on. Like, really? We at the house, girl. We okay.
Right.
Anyway, okay. So we're at the house. It's Aries, it's Herbie, aka Herbert, Herbie, Sierra, who I also like, Jessica, who looks like Vivica Fox to me,
Hmm.
and Chris and Quentin. That's a lot of people. Damn.
Yes.
We see Sierra, like, okay, help me out. Do Sierra be drunk in most of these scenes?
Uh, I'm trying to figure that out because
Okay.
I can't always tell. Like I don't know if it was just this scene
Yeah.
or not, because it's like how well, I'll say this, like sometimes, and my mom can attest to this as well. Like if it gets late and like she's like sleepy, she'll get extra, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Not like in some crazy way, but she'll just be like
No.
sillier, just kind of like, she'll be a little more extra.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get like that too. Sometimes my energy is gone. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go home.
Yes.
But yeah, but so I understand some people have personalities that can maybe come out and present themselves as real extra and loose. But it did kind of seem like she might have been sipping on a little something, something.
I
So yeah,
mean, like because she even like was drinking when they were about to toast. She
yeah.
spilled something on her shirt, and I was just like, she was like, I made a mess. I'm like,
And did she open when she said that?
yeah, it was a little bit,
Yeah, it was
a
kind of like,
little bit,
oh, all right.
yeah, yeah, right. I was like, yeah, she's sauced. She a little sauced up, you know.
Right.
Okay, so she's having Sierra's having a conversation with Herbie,
Mm-hmm.
and she is talking about they talk about sex before marriage, and Miss Bell brought this up and said that these women keep talking about sex so much in the like beginning stages, and I was like, no, they're not at first, but I'm starting to see,
Mm-hmm.
yes, they are. Any
Yeah.
thoughts on that in that conversation with her and Herbert?
First, I should say I may have to correct you on something because
Okay.
I do believe that the new term for women like Aries is voluptuous. according to Marlo.
Voluptuous. Yeah. Okay. I'm here for voluptuous. Okay.
You
Now
know
I'm
who
not
said
talking
that,
about
right?
no, who?
You didn't remember? You didn't hear when Marlo said that on RHOA?
No, but I don't too much care for Marlo, so
No, but that's what I was saying. Because she was trying to drag Drew, and she was just like, "Your man don't want you. He wants this voluptuous." She's like, "Is that how you say it?" The driver was like, "I think it's voluptuous."
oh yes. Oh right, because when she realized she didn't get invited to the video shoot. Okay, got you. I did not catch that. I'm gonna have to go back. Marlo has that heavy tongue.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, she's got a heavy tongue. That's it. The
My
word is voluptuous.
Yeah, yeah, voluptuous. I was gonna say, and even with the tongue thing, my mom called that out last season during her tagline when she was just like, I've always had the juice, but now I got the peach. Go back and listen.
I'm gonna
You can hear you can hear it. Like, nah.
oh my god, Marlo. I got to go. I have to watch that. I have to because I never heard Latoya Stay trying to be shady and can't even speak properly. Oh. Wait, who is Latoya?
You
Who
know who
is
Latoya is.
I do?
Yeah. What's
I
Marlo's
didn't
real name?
that's her name? Wait, I thought her name was oh no, wait, is what is her real name? That's
You don't
Latoya's
you
her real name.
That's what they were throwing out. I remember Kenya had said that on the reunion, and probably during the last season.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think it was like just yeah. I was
Latoya
about to say
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
Okay,
Yep.
yes, yes. Okay, got it. Okay. So she's also one of those people who are trying to make her name sound more
Mhm.
exotic or whatever. Okay, Latoya Hutchinson. When people used to say that, I'd be like, who the hell is Latoya? At first, I thought they were
Mhm.
talking about Latoya Forever. That's
Right,
what I
right,
thought. I'm so
right.
slow, y'all. Thank you for helping me because I was like, who is Latoya? Who is that? I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that tagline. That was from season 14.
Uh huh.
Ciao. Okay, so Sierra sauced. Her and Herbie are having a conversation about sex
Uh huh.
and having sex before marriage and their thought on sex before marriage. What did you think about that conversation, that interaction?
Um, like I said, everyone. I feel like everybody. I know everybody's different. I understand the way people prioritize sex and sexuality, and intimacy, and all that kind of stuff. I get it. To me, sometimes it feels like is that at the forefront? Like,
Right.
is that taking priority over certain
Yeah.
things, or like? So it's hard, but it's hard to tell because I don't want to make a summation. Like I don't want to make it seem like you just hot in your pants, just
Yeah.
based off of
Yeah.
that. But it's just like how much of it is just I don't know, like how much of it is just like you really wanting to know about perhaps sexual compatibility or how those things work versus, I don't know, like what I guess it depends on what the people are there for because I feel
Yeah.
like we see. I think even with the last Miami seasons, I saw a lot of just some of the conversations and the way they would be and the stuff they would do, and it's like love is not at the forefront of any of this, but okay,
Y'all trying to get laid, okay?
right,
Right. No, I agree. It's sometimes it's so cringy that they bring up sex so
mm,
soon. It's like, are you trying to be exciting, and that's the only thing that you can think of that would
right,
potentially be it? Yeah. That's how I feel as well. But in that interaction, we find out that Sierra is on a journey. There's always one woman on the journey, or one man so on a journey of celibacy, and everybody's kind of like, I don't know about that, right? I don't
right.
think Sierra has broadcasted it. Well, actually, she did end up telling the rest of the group
Mm,
that she's on a journey of celibacy. She's almost 1 year, so we'll see how that goes
mm.
as it circulates throughout the cast. Um, I think Chris is cute. Chris is cute. He's Nigerian. Chris and Jessica
Hmm.
having a conversation about arranged marriages.
Yeah.
Um, he decided that he didn't want to have an arranged marriage and he wants to choose his own wife. Any thoughts on that or
Yeah.
reaction?
I was gonna say I think that's I thought it was interesting to hear because I think some people still. I mean, some people know, some people aren't sure. Some people I think maybe think it's a stereotype, but I do know that is the thing. That happens. So I just think just from the cultural aspect of hearing like what his experience was with that, and the fact that it was even an issue to be like, no, I don't want to get married to somebody I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, so no, I enjoyed like just hearing that because we don't think about that. It sounds like such an antiquated thing, but that's
It
still very
does.
much the here and now, especially when it comes to dowries and money and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right, right. No, I agree. And then how, because I guess we in America we've learned or we've adopted to create
Hmm.
our own wealth. You know,
Right.
we create our own. We don't have to like partner with other families in order
Right.
to move up or generate wealth and things like
Hmm.
that. It's more of an independent kind of process.
Yeah.
So I forgot that that's what happened back then, right? So and they still do it to this day, right? But that, yeah, that's interesting. That I want to see how he is going to fare with the women. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of him just yet,
Not yet. No.
not
Mm-mm.
yet. So, but I think he's all right. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, Aries and Quentin. Any thoughts on them? Because they were like touching each other and looking each other in the eye and oh you cute. Oh no, you cute. Ooh, you remember them? You cute. Oh no, you cute. Ooh, ooh. Sorry, I had to be extra.
No, I'm just saying, like, because I'm like, I'll be honest, I cringe when it comes to baby babble talk and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yes.
yeah, because I'm just kind of like, all right.
Ugh.
So yeah, some of that stuff, and like I said, I get it when folks are feeling each other. I get it, but it's some of that stuff is like, no, I'm good. But
Right.
um, yeah. So I mean, it was it was tolerable. I'll just say
Right.
that.
It was what it was. I get
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I took it for what it was.
Yeah, take it for what it was. Yeah. She's 10 years his senior.
Mhm.
Um I'm interested to see. I don't that we find out a little bit more about Quentin. So I want to get
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
what I was saying. That's what I was like. Okay, for the
Yeah,
moment, I was,
let's get let's get to that. So we have two in one-on-one dates. Sierra goes on a date with Habibi. She wants to I guess try to figure out and get to know him more. Oh my god. And then we see Lee and Quentin go on a date. So let's talk about the least, well, to me, the least interesting date first, and then we'll get to Habibi and Sierra.
mm,
So Quentin gets there, he meets with Lee, and they're talking about, being secure in one another and their relationship and social media. What were your vibes through that whole, were there anything that stood out to you, or what was the vibe that you got from that date?
Benadryl.
Please put me to sleep. Put me to sleep. Please, please. That's what I need. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, what the hell is y'all talking about? And honestly, it felt like a job interview. And he was just saying everything that I was like, all right, switch back to Habibi and them. I'm like, I know he ain't shit. I know
Right.
he ain't shit, but he's good TV.
Exactly.
Let's
Exactly.
I know he ain't shit. He's good TV though.
Mm.
Okay. So we get to see Era and Habibi. And I was just kind of like, he really is he present? Like I didn't think he was present, like mentally in there. Yeah. So what did you think? We'll just hit the highlights and then we can move on to the brawl. The brawl.
Yeah. The cookie is missing a lot of chocolate chips. If
Yes.
you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Um,
I'm using
I
that by the
and
way.
huh?
I said I'm gonna use that by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yes.
they're not
Yes.
they're not there. So it was weird, and like I said, and it's not that I didn't watch the first time, but as we talk, I'm just like I sometimes have to go back over this stuff. Like, did I really miss something, or did they edit weird, or what was it? Because to me, the way the conversation was already going was kind of like because Habibi is weird and off putting and ignorant and all that stuff.
Yes.
So I don't know how we went from how we like went from that initial conversation over to your mama ain't.
Right.
S-H-I-T. I was like,
And clearly she loved her mama. Like, you pick the girl who talks to her mother every single day to say that too?
listen, let me make it very clear. And I too have a very, very tight knit relationship with my mother. I'm
Yeah.
talking about to the point where, and this is another conversation for another day. But
Yeah.
I was calling them up on the phone on my graduation day, on their graduation day. Somebody I know calling them up, like trying to cuss them out, basically saying you need to apologize to my mother, or I'm showing up to your house.
I know that's right.
And like I said, it was a whole other situation that was going on, but it was graduation day. I was like,
Yeah.
before we go up here, you better like,
Right.
yeah. So I don't play about my mother.
Right.
I've had a lot of like I'm real chill. I'm real laid back about a lot of stuff. There are things that I get a little more intense about, but when it comes to my mom, that's like that's the no. And I've had some moments. Thankfully, nothing that I had to go to jail for, end up on the 6 o'clock news for, but I'm just saying, I have it in me. So
Yeah.
my thing is, because I even remember one time, like me and my mom obviously watch reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
And reality TV is just another form of entertainment. People
Right.
like to attach like standards and stuff like that. Like if you watch this, then it means this. I'm like, this is all just entertainment. Chill out. Nobody's like, people like to politicize everything or make it about like, oh, this is the standard, blah blah blah. I remember
Right.
somebody had said something about like, y'all watch, your mom likes to watch that. Is she ratchet? Like, I was like, and I just stared at them for like a good like a good
Right.
minute.
Okay.
I was like, are you joking?
Right. Right.
was that a
Right.
joke? It's
Right.
because and then they kind of walked it back
Mm-hmm.
because they could see I was about to be like, what do you mean?
Yes.
So because I know what they were trying to say. That's not even how that works when it comes to TV. Anyway, I'm getting off
No,
track,
but I
but
agree.
just that quickly, I was like, I really like my whole stature changed.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, so the fact is, yeah, I don't even know how she kind of dealt with that without like. I'm not saying everybody got to scream and yell, but I'm surprised that she dealt with that the way she did because I know how I
I
am.
mean, she kept pretending like she was gonna throw the drink on him,
Hmm.
and she was like, "Check, please," right?
Hmm.
Like she ready to go. So
Hmm.
yeah, she handled it much better than I thought she would. I
Hmm.
mean, but I think he said it and then realized that she didn't like it, and then was like, "Oh, I'm just playing." But it's like, how did the chocolate chips? Where are they?
Where are they? Like I said, because of all the things I can like I said, I know how to go back and forth with folks like in a funny way. Like we
Right,
can kind of
right,
like, I know how to jab with folks without getting
yeah,
disrespectful. But the
right.
one thing I don't need to go there with is somebody's like mama. I can't think of any context. It would have
Hmm.
to be something very specific between me and that friend that I know. Like,
Right.
you remember that time your mom? Like, it would have to be
Yes.
something very specific. But it would never be anything where I'd be like, your mama ain't or F your mama. Like, for what?
Right.
No,
Right.
because
And
I already
in the
know if
first
somebody
interaction,
brings that over here, it's game over.
exactly. And in the first interaction, like I just
I don't get it.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, it was in that moment I said, "Oh, he going home."
Yeah,
He's going home. He's going home. Okay, so let's get to eliminations because there's a lot to
Lord.
discuss. So much to discuss. I'm gonna okay, we get to eliminations. It's called the mansion, is where they meet. That's the official ladies lounge.
Uh-huh.
All the women get there. Lee had on this turquoise dress. I don't remember what coral dress. I can't remember the color of the dress, but whatever the hell she had on, she was doing it. She looked
Right.
amazing. She looked amazing. Um, all the other women obviously gorgeous. They coming down,
Mhm.
they're sitting down. They're talking about who they like, who they don't like. All the guys that are at the top, Quentin, Mariere, um, Chris, all the guys, right? All the
Right.
desirables. And then we get to um I think we talked about, did we bring up Habibi at first?
In the
Or did
conversation,
we, yeah, in the conversation of throwing around who likes whom.
I want to
Did
say
you
they started with Habibi because I feel like isn't that what kind of like kicked everything off?
it did. You know what? You're absolutely right. So they start talking about Habibi and they're all kind of like, he's a clown. That's Janelle's first thing. She says he's a clown. Oh no, it was Taekwondo. She says, "Oh, I'm connecting with her BB," and I think it was just this awkward silence.
Hmm.
Everybody's like, "Okay, girl." Like
Right.
everyone is like, "All right, girl. All right, sis." So Janelle pipes up and says, "Habibi is a clown, and he need to go." Tequila gets on the defensive side, and I'm trying to think what she says to. How did it escalate? It just happened so
Okay.
quick. I can't remember.
So
Yes, go ahead.
basically, at basically, it kind of they kind of are they just they I know they mentioned some of the folks there. They're I want to say they start with the ones they like and they kind of get into who they dislike. I think that's how it goes when I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once they get into the conversation of who they don't like, Janelle basically at some point mentions like what he said,
Yes.
and then
Ugh.
Tequila decides to put her cape on, dun, da, 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 and she's like, and she's like, but did you really get to know him? Like, do you really like what do you know about him? Like, do you really? I was like, wait.
What
This
is
woman
happening?
just said, this man
Yes.
said the following.
This. Right.
What is
Borderline
there?
sexual assaults.
What am I getting to know when
Yes.
harassment is at the forefront of our
Right.
interactions?
Right. Harassment, not assault.
Oh no,
Yes.
no, I got you. No, I knew what you meant.
Yes. Like, how, girl, you should be disgusted like everyone else was in the room. What is happening? What is happening here, dear?
And then and then it's like because nobody was, I guess, was on her side, and they're like, well, like, what's the like? We're not like, why are you okay with that, and why are you not disgusted by this? And it was just like, yeah, but rah, 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 like woof woof woof, arf arf arf, buck buck
Yes.
buck, jump
Right.
jump jump. I was just like, what? Like, I
What?
have never, and well, I don't say this all the time. I try not to say it, but it's just a word that floats around my brain because I see so many examples of it, even on social
Yeah.
media. But I was just like, I have never seen someone go out of their way and find the crown and place it on their head and say that, like, I am the leader of the Pick Me Princess Parade.
Pick me princess parade.
Marching on, okay, till victory is won. Like, that's where she was. That is
No,
where
but
she was with it.
that
I was
really
like,
was.
wow.
I mean, she really was. Annie up, troops, let's go. Like, she was really ready to go. Princess of the Pygmy Parade. Princess of the Pygmy Parade. Sid, what is going on? And then she jumps up. Janelle's like, are we really
Are
jumping
we
up?
doing this?
Are we doing this? Like, we can't have a conversation like a grown woman? She was like, yeah, because I'm real about mine. About your what exactly? Because what is yours? What is yours? What are you fighting for, dear? Dear heart, I need you to tell me. So production comes in, they're, breaking everyone up. She walks out and she says that they eliminate Habibi, eliminate me too. Not martyrdom. Okay, right. I'm like, girl, please go. Like, bye. We were ready for you to go anyways. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, that's that. I don't think that's not the oh, what's the word? That is not the ultimatum that you think it is.
no,
Okay.
okay, right. It's
It's
not,
not.
sweetie. It's really not. It's
And,
really not.
and and then she, before, as production was like, scoring her off, the other girl was looking towards her and she was like, "But you can get it too." And it's like what is
Girl,
this?
I'm
For
just looking at your
what?
crazy ass. Like, what is your problem?
And,
I said, oh, go ahead, say, go
oh no,
ahead.
no. I was gonna say, and then what was telling, and again, after to figure out like what was the conversation. Like I said, they cut this stuff up, but
Oh, yes.
then she said something to Janelle to the effect of, "Yeah, because you and your effing skin color, bitca," and I was
What?
like,
Okay. Okay.
"So
Are we
we're
doing
good."
psychic
Like,
vows on these women? We need to. We need to start doing psych evals because this
I
is
would watch. I would listen. I would watch. I would love to get the
yes,
background.
yes,
I already think even when it comes to scripted shows or even some of these reality shows, like these therapy, like under the shows where it's like therapy, I'm like,
yes.
ooh, I see why.
Please,
Because
please.
some of these reality TV folks, I just ain't wrapped too
Mm-mm,
tight.
mm-mm.
But yeah,
But
when
keep
she
going.
said that, I was like, so here's the issue is, and I've been very outspoken about things like this, and I'm very sensitive to it, even though obviously I'm the person who benefits from it. I'm not the one who
Yes.
is affected by it
Yeah.
technically.
Yes.
But I'm very like colorism is not something I take.
Mm-hmm.
I take it very seriously. I don't trivialize it. I don't just kind of throw that around. I make sure. I don't know. Like I'm very cognizant of what that means, especially with people of a darker hue.
Right.
So so I understand how that works, but I'm confused as to how that shows up in this situation because here's the thing, sometimes you just don't like people. There are a lot of folks I don't like. They're very and I will say this, I don't just go around disliking people, but there are very specific things. The way you present yourself, the things you have to say, including things that are colorist, like you will
Yes.
turn me off very quickly. I'm like, oh no,
Right.
no, we're good. But I'm like, I don't like the optics of it, but unfortunately it looks like you have an issue with her being lighter.
Yes.
And I guess maybe her hair, I don't know. That's just how it comes off, like a colorism, featureism, texturism. I don't know. That's what it was
Texturism.
giving me. And it's just like
That's
that
what it is.
shouldn't even be a part of this. If you just don't like her, then you just don't like her. But I don't know how
No.
we put that in it. Just like I don't mean to keep doing references, but just like
No.
when Nene and Claudia were arguing in Puerto
Hmm.
Rico, and then
Yeah.
Nene threw in because that half breed shit. I'm like, that
Yes.
has nothing to do with anything else we're talking about. Where did that come from?
Right.
So yeah, so I was just kind of like that. I was kind of put off by that.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything that you said. And it's almost like it was something that it had been brewing. She
Mm-hmm.
had already these like feelings that were already festering, and
Mm-hmm.
so she had already had an issue with Janelle from jump. She
Mm-hmm.
already had issue with her, probably her skin tone. I'm probably gonna go in that direction. And again, I'm very sensitive to colorism. I was on the receiving end of it for a
Right.
very long time, right? And probably
Mm-hmm.
in ways that I don't even know still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I get it, and my ears perk up when I feel or hear
Mm-hmm.
things in that arena or in that realm. So I am sensitive to it, and I'm always going to lend an ear when there may be a complaint about it,
Mm-hmm.
or someone is saying, "Hey, I feel like this is what's happening right now."
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of that, I do understand that there's internalized issues
Mm-hmm.
with sometimes that we on the folks on the receiving end. So you almost jump to that conclusion, and you become on the defensive side before it can actually happen to you, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Right.
Or
Right.
do you know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
assume that that's what's happening before you even get the full facts, because you've just experienced it so many times in your life
Mm-hmm.
that you automatically just jump there. So I get that, and I think that that's what was happening. And then also, not to pick on her, but I just feel like her self-esteem is
Mm-hmm.
just not where it should be. It's not
It,
where it
it
should
it can't be based off of the stuff we were seeing
be.
throughout the
Right.
episode.
Right, exactly. And I guess I don't understand. And I'll make this point once we get to that part. But
Mm-hmm.
when she jumped up, threatened the women, I was like, okay, she needs to go home. Is she gonna
That's
go
it.
home?
Right. That's
That's
it.
it, right? She's eliminated. She's gone. They bring her back. They come sit her back down. What were your thoughts in that moment?
To me it was weird because and then it's like, okay, so we're gonna continue on like nothing just happened. I'm like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, 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 no.
Right.
That's not how that works.
No.
And then it's just like, and not even just not even think in regards to her, but if I'm this person who just got bucked at on the other end, If I'm Janelle, if I'm all these other folks who are just sitting down trying to figure out like what's going on, and she just comes back in to sit down, it's just like my thought would be like, so how does this work? Am I supposed to
Right.
then like continue to socialize like we didn't just have a whole near
Right.
altercation and stuff like that? I just
Exactly.
doesn't, and I feel like if nothing else, there should at least been, unless I missed it again. But did Tommy say any? Did he? I don't feel like there was a full like
No.
conversation about what the standard is and what you do and what you don't do.
No,
No,
it was not. I didn't see it.
no.
But I also know that Tommy is okay with like women going back and forth and arguing, and like he lets that happen to me.
Mhm.
I take a little bit of issue with Tommy
Oh, me
sometimes and
too.
how he handles.
Oh, me too. Because there's definitely some BS in the mix, and I've seen it with how he's handled stuff on some of these episodes. Especially we don't have time for it, but the whole
No,
Dakia thing, and Joy and old boy and all the
the mess that
ooh,
was oh yeah, I was. Oh, I
I
did a whole
was
video on that. I think I did like a 2 hour video because I was so
oh
mad.
okay. You got to send me the link because I need to
Yeah,
I need to
yeah.
watch
It was
that.
total BS. But anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, Tommy, how are you supposed to ins- instill trust, and how are you also supposed to foster a sense of protection? I guess because he
Mhm.
just was a few minutes ago. Ain't nobody gonna disrespect y'all. You need to let me know if somebody disrespect y'all. Well, okay, how can they do that when
Mhm.
you at the same time are allowing someone else to violate, whether woman to woman or not?
Exactly.
She
Exactly.
still threatened them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I was like, Tommy, he don't never handle nothing right. I'm like, is he needs if he gonna stay, if we insist on allowing him to stay on the show, can he please at least get some help? So
Right.
somebody that's a voice of reason that can kind of
Yeah.
like balance him out, you know?
Yeah. I think, and you know what? I actually think that would be a good idea because I think that because it is men and women, and because it
Yeah.
is like, and I'm not saying it has to necessarily be his wife or anything, but somebody who
No.
has, as much of a strong personality, but can kind of, has the right balance to where it's like, they're, dominant. They can kind of get, control of what's going on and moderate and all that kind of stuff, but make it clear,
Right.
like, we're not doing this, like,
Right.
and make it
Right.
very clear. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think with it just being him, and it's no disrespect. There are things that are likable about Tommy, but I don't think he has the range to
Mm-mm.
necessarily handle all these women and all these men. And maybe
I agree.
or maybe it's just maybe with the men, he has one particular type of structure,
Right.
and the women, it's like, oh, okay, well, and I think that's why you need another woman in the mix.
Exactly. I think. Ooh, who would you recommend?
Uh, it wouldn't make. I know it wouldn't make sense. In theory, I would love to see Dr. Ponytail on there.
Dr. Oh, Dr. Nicole.
Yeah.
Dr. Ponytail. I was like, Dr. Ponytail. Oh,
Ponytail.
okay. Dr. Nicole. Okay. She would gather them with riddles. riddles.
Right. Not for
Riddles and
real.
rhyme. Like, Dr. Nicole, just say what you saying, girl. What is just say what you saying.
Oh
Um,
gosh, no. That would just that in itself would be funny.
yes.
But I would have to it depends because it's like it kind of depends on what angle you're coming from. Because it's like, do we want someone like here's what some people might want. I don't dislike this person, but I don't know if that fits. Like I can see some people wanting like Tamar on the show.
Oh,
You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
okay.
but so because some people some people will be looking at it from it being more of a dominant personality thing or being straightforward, which I get. But
Yeah.
Tamar is a lot, and I feel like you need someone with a certain level. I'm not trying to knock her. I'm just saying with a
No,
little more
no, no.
professionalism, and a little
Yes.
little more balance.
Right, 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 right. I,
Yeah,
I was thinking of Egypt Sherrod because remember when Tommy had like she can
yeah,
command the room,
yeah,
right? But she also still can like give
mhm,
advice and
yeah,
she's welcoming, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
not and because see, Tamar is a woman who will try to steal all the thunder and all the shine. Like she
Absolutely.
wants all the I see Egypt not really trying to compete with other women. I can see
Right,
Tamar like trying to compete with all the women and get the same attention. I'm like, girl, you wasn't on the show, girl. It's not about you. God, sit down.
right.
Anyway, yeah. So if they
Yeah,
were to, I could see Egypt Sherrod.
yeah.
Joan said
No,
no, Tamar. Yeah,
Tamar.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
she's too much.
Yeah, she too much. She too
Yeah.
much. But we need someone else.
Hmm.
Something else. Someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, so Taekwondo comes back, sits down. We just kind of go back to talking about eliminations like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened. Yeah.
Like nothing happened. Like it's just a regular old Tuesday, right? We just
Mhm.
here. Um, so they start talking about Quentin and the topic of Quentin and him not liking black women.
Mm.
I was not again being on the receiving end of colorism. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and so that
None.
it's rampant up and through Florida.
No, definitely.
Um, so I automatically see a dark skinned man and assume that he either like them light, bright, damn near white,
Mm.
or white, right?
Right.
So
Yes. Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when Kira brought that up and said, I don't think that he likes black women, I was like,
Mhm.
what were your thoughts?
Yeah. So it was. So I guess I was a little I guess I was confused, and like I said, with editing, I don't know if it's one of those things where they're saving reveals for certain moments, and so we're kind of like, oh, well, wait a minute, are you serious? Because I guess they don't necessarily want to reveal that, before the big shocker moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so initially, I was kind of like, it just kind of threw me because there wasn't an indication in
Right.
theory off the bat, and then I had to remind myself, of course, who Quentin was, and then when they showed him, I was kind of like, oh well, but then
Uh,
the issue is he kind of has the look,
he
and he
does.
kind of and I've seen it. I had a personal trainer, you know, like a real beefy, dark skinned guy. Not a bad looking guy or anything, but
No.
he was a guy of a certain hue, and
Mm-hmm.
he was very, what's the word? Like early Carlton on Fresh Prince before he had a
Mm-hmm.
little more awareness. Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
kind of it was some not in the kind of in the geeky nerdy sense,
Yes,
but some
but
of that idea of how he needed to structure things and the type of circles he wanted to run in,
right.
and it very much leaned towards that.
Yes.
So and in the same. Yeah, and the same with some of the folks he hung around, which I became aware of after a while.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me, and even when it comes to like football and the
Mm-mm.
athletes and all that, that
Mm-hmm.
is very common. So it's
Very,
like,
very common.
ooh, this is not outside the realm of possibility. The only issue is because I didn't see like a concrete specific thing. I know they did that little flashback
Right.
where he said like I'm not really feeling any of the women,
Yeah. Well, he
but
said yet in that.
yet, right,
Right.
yet. So, but then that doesn't, that's not concrete enough. So, and
Exactly.
and I can't necessarily say it based off of that. And then I want to say there was a similar thing in this last season where someone, oh my gosh, I can see him in my head, but I can't think of the name. But it was something like that where his friend, on the episode where the friends were visiting, he was like, "Oh, he's only dated white women before you."
Ooh, ooh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know
and it's
exactly. And I said, oh yeah.
uh-huh,
Mm-hmm. I can see
yeah,
that. I can see
right.
that. Because he brought his white girlfriend, or his girlfriend was, I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I can see that. Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking I these seasons are starting to run together, but I know
I know
exactly
it
who.
is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't remember, but I can literally see it in my head. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Is it Phil? No, it wasn't Phil. No, it wasn't Phil. Somebody.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to look
It
it
is
up.
gonna bother me too.
Yeah, it's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah, I guess my takeaway with this is that I don't like that the women were not listening to each other.
Right.
Like, you may not agree with what is being said. You may not even like who is saying what is said, but you do not, everyone is showing you different things, right? And I may show you red, and I may show this person blue, and this person may get green.
Hmm.
And it's my job as an informed dater to take note of your red, blues, and green. Like, I need to be able to see how all of that
Hmm.
interacts with one another. and again make informed decisions on whether or
Hmm.
not. And I feel like that's what this whole experiment, this whole social experiment is about to me, right? Like, are
Hmm.
you really gathering all the different things, collecting the information, and process of elimination, making a right decision?
Right.
These women, and we've seen it so many times, they, like, we see Taekwondo, Captain Taekwondo, Captain Taekwondo, dun, 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 like,
Right.
girl, listen,
Mhm.
listen. What are
Mhm.
they saying? You may not agree, but maybe you should take note and keep it in
Yes,
your back pocket. You know,
that's it.
that's the formula. I gave y'all the game. Please,
Mhm.
I take Cash App. Okay,
Right.
Zelle. Like, pay me. That's the game. Like, that is the literal game in life and on the show. Like,
Mhm.
pay attention to what's happening, because yes, he may be telling you he like daisies on Wednesday, but he might be telling her he like tulips on Friday. Like, you don't
Mhm.
know. Do you know what I mean?
No,
So,
I do. It's the same way that if Kimmy had any sense or awareness,
ooh,
she would be comparing notes with Kiowa instead of
ugh,
letting Maurice gas her up to be like, there was a lack of integrity there. Like,
don't,
ma'am.
oh, we gonna have to talk. We
See,
gonna
that's
have
the
to.
thing. We have so much we have to talk about. It's
Yes.
not gonna be able to just be contained to this show. So, but
No,
we'll
it's
figure that
not.
out. We'll figure
We'll
that
figure it
out.
out. We will figure it out. We will. You're absolutely right. I'm like, how did you let Maurice do a switcheroo on you? Like, I mean, in a classic switcheroo at that. Like,
Jedi mind trick.
Jedi mind, like, girl, what is happening? Anyway,
Mm,
I won't even.
no, I got
But you're
you.
absolutely right, because
Yeah,
who is the source? Maurice is the source of all of this. But
exactly.
anyway, that's neither here nor there. We
Yeah,
moving on. But you're
yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah. It's just like just like you said. It's just like just all you have to do is like really pay attention because it's not hard. Like the whole point is like you have all these women here, and everyone is going to be giving feedback on what their interactions are. So as soon
Yeah.
as something don't make sense, it's like, oh, okay.
Hmm. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I'm sure plenty of Black mothers and grandmothers have said this, and my own mother has said it plenty of times. But shoot, I'm pretty sure Medea said it in one of Tyler Perry's plays. But it's one of those things where, you know, I make sure I ask questions, and I
Yes.
keep in mind the answers. And there will be a time where it could be a year from now, but I will go back and ask that
That's that
same
same
question to
question.
see if I got the same answer I got
Yes.
then. And if I
Yes.
don't, something ain't adding
Mm-mm,
up.
mm-mm. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. You're absolutely right. That's,
Mhm.
like, you can't just be like la 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 la. No, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, no, no. You got to pay attention.
Mhm.
Pay attention. Take note. Pay attention. If something doesn't feel right in your gut,
Mhm.
pay attention. Like,
Yes.
we have everything we need to succeed in this, but we just start, I don't know, wavering, I guess. So,
Mhm.
and it's unfortunate, and I know we're gonna take witness to a lot of that this season.
Yep.
um and we'll be here for the commentary.
Of course.
We'll be here to talk about them, like a dog.
Mhm.
So, okay, so we get to elimination part. Any other thoughts on the elimination, or I'm sorry, the deliberation, and how they all, you know figured out who was going to be at the bottom?
No, no, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
um okay, so we find out that it's Brandon and Habibi.
Mhm.
Big surprise. It's Habibi. He has to go home. Sierra is, oh, I'm sorry, Red. My bad.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I was thinking of the first episode when you said it, but yeah, yeah,
Yes, I was
yeah,
thinking as
red,
well. My bad. It's
yeah.
Red and Habibi. Um, Red stays. Habibi goes home. He still doesn't get it. I mean, the chips are not in that. He was just like, anybody who don't get it, don't get it. Yeah, that's like, like, who is responsible for this? I
I
need to
want to
talk to my mom.
know. I want to
I,
know.
ma'am, I need to talk to you, ma'am, sir. We need to have a conversation.
Yes,
We
we
need to
do.
have a conversation. Expeditiously. So Red says he's thankful. He's blaming it on Unique. He said, I don't understand how Unique was able to get into the women's head. And I'm like, okay, so he really is going to have an issue with Unique this whole season until he gets voted off. I think it was an ego. I think his ego got bruised because he thought that Unique liked him in the first episode during the mixer. And when she shut him down, he was like, what do you mean? Oh no, I don't like that. I think that's what happened to me personally.
But that's wild to me because my thing is, to me, it's a very simple rule when it comes to me. Don't want none, won't be none. So like,
Exactly.
if you're not cool with me or you don't want to be around, even when it comes to the YouTube stuff, I know it's going to be folks who will always be there to support, always come around, always be like pushing me forward and encouraging. Some folks will be like, ugh, what's this? And going
Right.
about their business. But I'm like, that's
Right.
fine. That's cool. It's just like, it's just not going to work. But
Right.
I'm not. You think I'm going to be running to folks? I mean, in theory. But you think I'll be running the folks' channel saying like, so why aren't you, clicking on my page and why aren't you commenting and why aren't you like what would I look like doing that?
Right.
Like, no,
Exactly.
like whoever wants to be cool with me, whether it's friendship, YouTube, whatever else, those are the people I want around. And nobody else wants it, you can go on about your business. But I'm not about to run after somebody trying to prove like, oh no, no, no. No.
No, exactly. I agree. I agree. And that shows the caliber of man that we're dealing with. We already know where he is anyway, but I
Mm,
mean it's just really starting to show. I mean it was already showing, but
mm,
it's really starting to be much more pronounced than it was.
right.
Um okay, final thoughts before we get into predictions.
Um, any final thoughts? Final
Final
thoughts.
thoughts.
I'm really just interested in seeing like if there are going to be any reveals with Quentin.
Ooh,
I really want to know because I think because I mean, look, we see it all the time. Like we get one kind of situation in reality happening on these
right.
shows, and then we get to the reunion. And it's just like, say what?
What? Oh,
So yeah, and hopefully we don't have anybody else talking about I believe you're my biblical husband, and then we pop up on the reunion looking like Boo Boo the Fool.
boo
Like
boo the fool. Oh my god. I believe you're my biblical husband. She,
I was like, why would you even if you thought that, why would you even embarrass yourself on national television?
please, please, so embarrassed. I'm like, girl, what Bible is he talking about? I have not seen not one girl. Okay, you just looking for a sponsor. You were looking for a sponsor, and just be honest. And you thought you hit the jackpot. Let's be honest.
And I'm talking about with the biggest, and I understand it would still be presumptuous for anybody, but you
Right.
start saying this the biggest clown on the show, the
The
dude who
biggest.
rolls up to you with this ish dropping down from his hairline, and then
Yes.
wearing these big old moon boot sneakers, like.
Yes. With the feather in his hat or feather in his hair. Boy, a grown ass man with some feathers in his head.
And then when he would, I don't know if he was from somewhere, but then even the way he would talk, it was really like weird. I didn't understand. Like
You got it. You got it. That's perfect. I have tried so hard to get his voice down. You got it. Oh my god.
I'm telling, every time this man was on the television, and then
I
when he would twist his hair, I was just like,
yes, with the
this
bun.
cannot be real life. It can't.
No. I was every time I would see him, I would roll my eyes. I'd be like, whatever his name was, Andre. I'm like, I cannot. Who can take you seriously? Like for real. Like people take you seriously for real? Oh.
I literally remember, I don't know if it was on Twitter or somewhere else, but I was just like, I would literally pay him. I would take money out of my check and I don't even know how to cut hair, but like, please let me
Yeah.
shave
Let me just
shave
say
your head.
at least just this part right here. Let me please just let me
Please.
please. Okay.
I literally,
Uh
it will be on me. I will give you
yeah,
my money.
yes. Yes, you don't have to pay. It just purely for my satisfaction. We just need this to be gone. He
Mm.
was such the biggest clown, and she was
Ooh,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, any predictions on the next? Did I ask that already? I think I did.
No, I think you were asking just kind of final thoughts before
Oh, final
predictions.
thoughts. Okay. Any
Did you have any
predictions?
final thoughts before predictions?
Oh, no, I think my final thought was these women really need to be paying attention
Hmm.
and taking mental notes, and y'all don't need to put no cape on. Oh, hold on. Joan has a final thought. I hope they're going to bring in more people. I think that they will. Um, okay, we can just move into predictions because I don't have any
Yeah.
other. Um, I do. I think that's also kind of like a staple where
Hmm.
they do the mixer, they do the brunch, and then they bring in more people. So
Right.
that's coming. We'll see. Um, I don't know what else. I'm trying to think of any predictions. I'm anticipating a huge blowout, another one, I'm sure, but I don't know who is going to be with. Like I
Right.
don't know who is going to bring the shocker. Maybe I
Right.
might be able to give you by the third or fourth episode.
Hmm.
Um Joan, I'm telling you, they baby, sis ain't she did not care about embarrassing herself. Are you not embarrassed? Are
So
you
this
not
is
embarrassed?
embarrassing.
This is embarrassing, girl. Embarrassing.
And I'll be honest, I'm already. And the thing is, a pet peeve, big pet peeve of mine is repetition. So
Yeah.
something that may be whatever, if I hear it too many times, it'll really wear on me.
Yes.
So it didn't help with old girl because it was like she was already a trip. But I feel like I hear this all the time. Like, you're my person, and I'm like, oh, I don't
Oh,
like that.
it's so cringy. I actually listened to that. Oh, on Love and Marriage Detroit. Christina
Oh,
was telling that to Brandon.
to she did say that. That's also where,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I was like, oh, girl, have some self respect and some dignity, girl. This man is blaming you for his career going south.
I
Yikes!
don't, yeah.
Yeah. The whole "you're my person." We with you, Joan. We rolling our eyes too.
Right.
We are rolling our eyes too. Um, yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts? Anybody
Yeah.
in the comment section have any final thoughts? Any predictions? Any opening the floor? Um. Oh, I did want to ask you if we were to restructure the show,
Oh, yeah.
how would you do it? How would you like restructure the game?
Okay. So the only prediction, because like I said, things are still kind of up in the air right now, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, and I don't want that to be the case because I do like her, but I think Janelle might end up pulling a Joy where we think like, oh my gosh, she's so cool and down to earth and relatable, and then she starts, you know,
Yeah.
like wilding. Like, I
Yeah.
don't like that. So
Yeah. I
I don't
think
hopefully not, but it just feels like if you already doing this on the second episode and in a situation that's not even that serious, I'm just like, it's not
yeah,
looking
I agree. I definitely yeah. I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
good.
I know she gonna embarrass me. I just know she is. I'm anticipating. I'm just like she gonna do it. I don't know when, I don't know how, and I don't know who it's gonna be with, but I just know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
exactly.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as restructuring, I do think that at least, and I don't know what the listen. I don't know anything about the budget and things like that. So I don't know if they have to like shoot within a certain time frame or if it's easier. Because I understand the competition structure is something that's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Miss Bell.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Bell. Hey, girl. Hey.
And so she was in. I think you had thought she was
Yeah, I thought she left.
no,
I thought you left. I'm so
yeah,
glad you're here. Okay,
yes,
keep going. Yeah.
yeah, because we had plenty to say.
Yes.
So-
Okay.
but I know that competition shows like it's more interesting to see like, oh, who's not going to make the cut. And it's funny now. This is really throwing it back. Hopefully,
Okay.
I don't know what our ages are, so I'm not. You don't have to say it. But I did watch Flavor of Love Charm School back in the
Oh,
day. Okay,
yes.
okay. Look, I'm making sure. I be
Black
thinking.
black black don't crack, but I'm older than you think I am.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Yes, I'm older
Because
than
I'm
you think
telling you,
I am.
I knew it was a rap. I knew it was wild. Yeah, I knew I was getting up there when I mentioned Maxwell, and they were like, "Oh, who's that?" I was like,
Maxwell? Oh, you needed to cut the room. Whatever that relationship was, cut that.
I, I
Let
was
them go.
I was offended. I was like, "Oh,
I was too. I in that moment that you just told me, I was like, oh, who is? Do they know the Lord? Who
right,
raised them? Do y'all know the Lord? Who raised you, baby?
exactly."
Yeah,
But I remember my mom. Yeah, well,
yeah. Get rid of Tommy.
I know why they wouldn't want to, but at this point, like, shoot, Dr. Nicole left at this point. I
I
mean,
mean,
you can replace. You can
you're
replace.
everyone is replaceable.
I was just about to say, yeah, everyone's
Right.
replaceable. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Or at least
Um.
let him do the, you know how he does the hosting, announcing
Right.
all the singles and stuff. You
Yeah.
can use him to do that, but moderating and giving advice and being so involved, no, boo. Please
No.
pass the mic. It's good.
Especially because, and this is perfect timing because I just saw this earlier. It popped up on my feed, so I guess you can thank YouTube for this. But I just saw where you had put Tommy on blast because he had been with his wife for 21 years, and they only
Yes.
just got married in 2016. I was like, oh, I did
Yes.
not know that.
Yes. And so they come to him and they're talking to him like he's this marriage guru. And I'm like, child, he in the same boat as y'all. He just got married. Oh, that's another pet peeve. That's really the reason why I think he needs to go. Does it appear to be a smaller cast this season?
Before
Um,
adding the, I thought that initially, and I'm guessing maybe that's because they have the other folks that are coming in. But then I also, you have to understand, I watched some of those early seasons were good, but
were
I've
they?
watched those early seasons, and it seems like it because the structure was different. It seemed like it was like
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so I don't know if it just feels different because of that.
That's true. That's true. I'm trying to remember what the number of singles were from the initial, like that very first Atlanta season, baby. Me and my best friend would every Friday. She lived like right down the street from me. She would come over and we would like it was ready to love, right?
Mhm.
I don't know that feeling came and went.
Right.
That nostalgia came and it went quickly with the newest seasons or these new seasons that are out. I don't know. I have to go back and look at how many they used to have.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, that'll be something I just go back and look at because I just want to know.
Hmm.
I was holding out, but it might be time for Tommy to go. Okay, so Miss Bell also thinks Tommy needs to go. He should have dismissed Habibi after the Janelle comment. Absolutely, which
Or at least set him straight as far as respect, like having respect and for the
right,
other women. Like it's very easy to do that.
right. Like had who was the one that he eliminated? Like himself. Like there was somebody who he decided he was gonna eliminate them. I
I
can't
rem-
remember.
yeah. See, it's like now that we're talking about all this, it's like everything is just swirling together.
Yes, everybody looked the same. It's all
Yeah,
the same. I can't remember, but I feel like he had a conversation with someone and told them that
yeah.
you're basically you can't come back here no more.
Oh,
Oh,
I think we just remembered at the same.
yes, yes. Was it David?
Oh boy, with the Kia because
Eh,
he did
Eric,
the
Eric.
okay
Yes,
because he did the
that's
yeah.
it. That's it. That's
Mhm.
it. Yes, Eric. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, I think that should have happened with Habibi. Y'all,
Mhm.
because if Janelle had some sense about her, which I'm sure she not done. We like Janelle. She could sue like
Mhm.
that. That's like you might be able to get with an attorney and potentially find out how
Mhm.
you could potentially sue. So going out of your way to like try to rectify that as soon as possible. I I would have at least shown it on TV. Me having this conversation with this man
Yeah.
saying, "You can't do this, brother. You can't do
Right.
this, son. You got
Hmm.
to go." But
Hmm.
let me give you some words of wisdom.
Hmm.
I was expecting that. So,
Right.
yeah, Denise is my all-time favorite member of RTL.
Denise.
Remember Denise she with the people that just broke up. Rashid. Denise called Rashid a narcissist. She was a chocolate woman,
Mhm.
athletic, strong bone structure, short hair.
Oh, Denise was a
Yes.
trip. I kid you not. I'm not just saying this in general.
Yeah.
I could literally go back and find the screenshot for you, but she was giving me Janet Hubert, Aunt Viv vibes for real.
Baby.
There was one specific one where she had like this black outfit on. Her hair was like slicked a certain. I was like, she looks just
Yes.
like her.
Gorgeous. Yeah, gore. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that they yeah, it was absolutely harassment, Miss Bell. That's exactly what I agree. I agree. Yeah, Denise, who was your all-time favorite RTL person? Like to this day that you love, that you just have to go up for. Oh, did you freeze? Are you still here? Oh no, I think we lost him. She definitely gave Aunt Viv. D, I think we lost you. Y'all tell me while we're waiting for him to come back. Who were I know Miss Bell, you gave us your favorite. Joan, who is your favorite? Or anyone else who's in the chat? Who was your favorite RTL er? Oh no, friend. Okay, I'll wait for him to come back. Who is my favorite? Let me think about this. Who was my favorite? There's been so many people. There's been so many people. Um, I think my favorite, and y'all gonna think I'm corny. My favorite is actually Simone. Simone Redwine, who got who was engaged to Rashid. I was so heartbroken to hear that Rashid wasn't the man for her. I really liked him. I mean, well, I really like her, and I saw a lot of myself in her. So I think she's my all-time favorite. I would say. Oh man, friend left. I know who my worst contestant is for me. Tequila. She yeah, she's pretty bad. Who else? Actually, okay, I'm gonna it's Tequila, and then it's y'all remember what's the lady that was with is it Joy that I didn't like? Joy's on the list, but it's the one who was with what was his name? She had a dreads, right? And they were friends before the show, and they both were interested. Reva. I did not like Reva. Yeah, yeah. Simone was my favorite. I saw myself in her in a lot of things that she does, and just her personality. I relate to her a lot. But what was her name? Yeah, Reva. I didn't like her. I thought that was some snake mess. I heard they're still together. I heard they're still together. Hold on, let me see where friend is at. Y'all give me 1 second. Okay, he's on his way back. Oh yeah, Joy and Clifton. Oof. I agree. I agree. They wasn't. Okay, so he's coming back. Yeah, Joy and Clifton. Y'all, I did a whole video on that reunion, and I was walking the dog on them. I do not like Joy and Clifton. And when I found out Tondi, thank you. Yep, Tondi and Reva. That's who I was trying to come up, but I couldn't remember the name. Um, yeah, they're still together. Who would have thought? I was like, the way how they say the way you keep them is or how you lose them, or how you get them is how you lose them. Who would have thought that the messy way that they got together? I don't, I don't know. I don't trust it. I feel like he's still out in the street and they just trying to look cute for, just for appearances. But oh, there he is. Okay. Okay. Hey
Okay.
friend.
Hey.
Okay. That's all right. That's all right.
So-
Is Go ahead.
oh no, no, I was just saying no. I probably in the middle of talking. It was just like dark. Just went disappear. I was like, oh, okay.
Dang, what happened to friend? Okay,
Right.
so we were talking about favorite RTLers, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was gonna say. I know somebody niece was a trip. I mean, but in like in a good way. She was entertaining. She was good at some
Yes,
good
she
TV.
was. She was. She kept it going.
But I was gonna say, I think she's already said it now. But that whole Tandy Mario Reba thing, like it was giving me diary of a Mad Black. I was sitting like, no, this is not
Um,
happening. That was wild.
yes, I'm telling you, it was craziness, craziness, craziness. Um, yeah. Well, I'm that is all I had. That is all we had. Anything else? I had such a good time. Oh my god, we'll have to do this again. So we definitely for next week we'll have to figure out the time and date, but we'll make sure that we advertise it or
Mhm.
broadcast it so that people know, so we can have more people
Oh yeah.
um be on. Um, and if you'd like, you can host it on your channel. We can kind of swap back and
Mhm.
forth. And when Kira joins us, because we also have an additional guest that we want to add. Um, so we'll keep you guys posted. Um, yeah. It was
Okay,
fun.
so one last thing, because I forgot we're
Oh,
saying that
yeah, go ahead.
as far as restructuring the show, the reason I had mentioned Flavor Love, yeah, Charm School is because even back then, my mom was saying like, well, if the goal is for them to kind of like improve and to get into a better frame of mind, and we're making improvements, we're learning and this and this and that, shouldn't they like at least stick around like for a bit before y'all start eliminating folks like? Yeah,
That's
so she said that then, even about that show. That's like, I don't know, 2006, something like 2005 or
yes,
something like that.
yes, the first
Um,
that ever did it. Yes,
yeah. But yeah, she was saying that, back then, and I feel like especially in this case, even more so if we're talking about love, I'm like, you can't I understand like you only have but so much time to shoot this stuff, but that's kind of the issue. You kind of are putting the love connection on a timeline. And I think at least you can circumvent some of that, some being the key word, by giving them a little more time to know each other. For it's like, okay, now let's start the process.
right. I agree. I don't think that we can avoid the elimination piece ever, because it just needs to happen. Um, but I agree. Like the chopping block shouldn't happen on the first episode. Like we don't like we
We
haven't
don't
relationships haven't had an opportunity to really fully
know.
blossom. And I know they only have what 6 weeks, 7 weeks maybe to film, maybe a little bit longer than that. But if you're really trying to foster real relationships, give it a little bit more time, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I was what was it? And I was thinking, um, oh, and that's what it was. That's the one thing I thought was interesting. Now they still had the elimination, but that's part of what made the resort season so interesting is because like we
Mhm.
all are like around each other
Yes,
consistently. So it's a
yes,
different way you interact versus like we meet up here, we meet up there, we got our
right.
job, and then that's why
Yes,
people still like probably have enjoyed that season the most. And I get it.
yes. I agree. I agree. And we got to see, I don't remember who was in, I don't think any relationships actually came from that season. I
Mm,
don't think anybody actually came from that. And I think the reason why is because you got to see them constantly all the
mhm,
time,
mhm,
their real selves. So
mhm.
you were getting the real. So
Right.
I liked, I like that. I wish they would do another one of those. Maybe like combine some of the old seasons.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And kind of do
Yeah.
like a real world challenge kind of thing. I don't
Oh
know.
wow, that would be interesting. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
Like
would be
that
mad
would
at
be
it.
really right. And maybe if you maybe did, I don't know if you did it, put them on a ranch or something, or some sort of, they would compete against each other, but
Mhm.
then still date. I don't know. Add some fun stuff to it. I think that might
Yeah,
be a
like
good
shake
idea.
it up so that it's not just, like
Right.
so stale, and there are somewhat more stakes versus that, because I think part of the issue is that at this point, and I don't know if it's just because something becomes more popular. I don't know if it's it is casting and production as well, because they
Yeah.
be pulling stunts with some of these folks that they they
Do.
bring on these shows. Like, we got a
Mm,
TV show, we got entertainment. Hey,
yes.
so they
Anybody, come on over here. Yes.
exactly. So they're definitely thinking of that. And I think having stakes like that additional piece that you're talking about, do you know that they have a I still can't believe this. They have a Naked and Afraid Love Edition?
Get you. Are you kidding?
No, and I don't remember how it was an accident. I was like scrolling through and it said negative for something. And I was like, what? Because I was like, because I know there's XL, there's whatever. And I was like, I
Yes.
haven't seen that before. And I looked, and it's some kind of version of it where they're dealing with all the stuff they deal, but then it's some kind of love piece. I was like, how does that work?
How does
So
this work? I'm so intrigued. What
yeah,
does that come on? What channel does it come on? AE,
uh,
A&E, or AMC? What is that? What channel is that?
that is it's either like A&E or like Travel Channel. It's like one of those
Okay.
like slightly obscure ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
I
it's
have
one
to
of
look it up.
those.
Not
Yeah,
y'all thinking of the
I'll look it
love
up.
connection. But I mean, but how? Okay, so if everyone is naked, y'all just making love connection. I'm so lost.
I guess they figure after a certain point you're going to be desensitized, and since you
Right.
getting bit up and burnt and trying not to die, then it's like, okay, well, we're connected in
Oh my
spite of all.
God. Under trauma. Okay. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a great. That's a
Naked and Afraid trauma bonds.
yes. I'm gonna have to find this. I'm intrigued at this point. Yeah, I gotta watch it. I gotta at
Yeah.
least see a little bit because maybe Ready to Love can borrow a few bits and pieces, minus the naked part, but borrow a couple pieces here and there. We'll see. Oh, friend, did I lose you again? Dang. It must be a storm. Are you there?
Oh
I can
yeah.
see you. Okay, okay, okay. I can see you. I can see you.
Uh,
All right. Well, it's
yeah.
been.
But- yeah,
Oh,
no,
go
the only
ahead.
thing I was gonna say is I think that would having that additional challenge, whatever it might be, it would
Yes.
circumvent some of these influencers, clout chasers, whoever are just coming on the show just because. Yes, you're still gonna have that, but these people won't be able to just kind of rest and just like make their way through. There'll be these other things they have to kind of focus on too. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. But dang, how would anyway, I'm gonna think about this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
think about it because I
Yeah.
think it's a good idea.
Mm.
We need to be doing something instead of
Yeah.
going bowling or for drinks or
Right.
that's so boring. Yeah.
It is.
Do something else, y'all. Do something else.
Cooking at somebody's house, like
Right. I'm like, not I know y'all ain't brain. Did Own at least pay for the food for her to host this at her house?
right.
Uh yeah. Anyway. Well, it's been almost 2 hours and 30 minutes, but I had such a good time. I had
Yeah,
such a
it
good
flew by.
time. Yes, it's such a vibe. I think the Atlanta cast and Houston cast has been the most entertaining. I would have to agree.
Yeah,
I would have to agree. Yeah.
totally agree.
Um, yeah, we'll see. Well, no, this is already being very entertaining.
Mm.
Okay. So we'll figure out with the date. I don't if Monday works for you again. Monday typically works for me, but we
Mhm.
can we can play it by ear. Um, all right, y'all. Well, have a good night. Thank you so much. We'll keep you guys posted for the next episode. Have a good night. Y'all take care.
All right.
Bye. Bye bye.